Serving Western Canada with those high-quality engine parts for highway trucks, farm machinery, heavy equipment, transit, and marine, and at a great price, too. Reach us at discountdiesel.ca and know that Discount Diesel's got the parts to get it done.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
Nurse back in the Edmonton zone has trouble with it. Carlson bounces, circles the net, makes the pass. Kreider can't get the shot through. Leo to the far post. 13 scores. Connor gives the Ducks their first lead with just a minute 14 to play.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Gets it to Walter. Here's Shed. With confidence. The transition three. Shed. Texas time.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
Start this game, Anaheim far more at full strength than they were last month. And breaking in, Russell shoots and scores. And what a start for Edmonton. Just 13 seconds into the game, the Oilers with their first game in 3 weeks. And Russellvik has staked them to a 1-0 lead.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul. 613 Thursday, February the 26th. Basically, last shot wins last night in Anaheim. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial. On your morning drive into work or wherever you're heading out on a Thursday morning. Really appreciate that you could spend some time with us here on Sports 1440. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like, even a subscription. We would appreciate that. And we're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, by the way. And as always, the streaming services are fast and furious as well on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, even on sports1440.ca. And if you miss any part of any show, you can find it where all the old podcasts hang out on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Subscribe, select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show. So glad you could come along for a little time with us this morning on a night where the Oilers, frankly, blew an opportunity to put some distance between themselves and the Anaheim Ducks, losing last night by a score of 6-5. That's their fourth loss in a row. So 3 losses to start the Olympic break, 1 loss coming out of the Olympic break. The Oilers have given up a whopping 40 goals in the last 8 games. Totally unacceptable. Never, ever going to win giving up 5 a game. Not in this day and age, ever. They had 2 2-goal leads, and they also had 1 1-goal lead. And right now, if you look at the playoff percentage points, the Oilers, with their percentage points, they're below the cut line in the Western Conference. That's where they are right now. The Ducks knocked them out of the number 2 hole in the Pacific. Oilers are now in 3, and there are so many things to unpack here. Our text line will be humming. You know it will be humming at 833-401-1440. Matt Savoy had an incredible game, one of his best as an Oiler, with 1 goal, 2 assists. Tristan Jarry did not, got the hook, gave up 5 goals. The first goal was not good. The 4th goal, not very good. The 5th goal was not good either. Where else? On that 6th goal with a $1:14 left. It's 5-5. You're thinking, okay, worst case scenario, after giving up another 2-goal lead, let's get this to overtime. The 6th goal, there are so many problems with it, and it's just not even close to being acceptable. Darnell Nurse bobbles the puck. Those are going to happen. Those things happen, but it's how you recover from that. Now, when you see a defenseman with this much experience finish the play like he did, you have to wonder, like, what is going on in a guy's mind to think he's breaking up the play or how he's going to try to break up the play. So basically, he bobbles the puck. Again, that happens to everyone. He's got an opportunity to recover and maybe blast it off the boards. However, pretty good play by Leo Carlson to get in on the forecheck. Now, at that point, Nurse is going, well, so I've angled him off. I got him behind the net. Carlson makes the play, and then Darnell Nurse decides to kind of cut left, and he has a little collision in front and ends up basically almost in the slot. All he has to do is stay. All he has to do, stay with Leo Carlson, and the play is broken up because the puck came out to Kreider. Quick shot, ends up back on the stick of Carlson, and then bang, that cross ice seam thing pass. It was a bullet from Carlson to Cutter Gauthier. 2 seconds later, she's in the back of the net. And not only that, but Jake Wallman standing. He's a statue. He's statuesque again. I mean, yesterday, day before, I'm talking about on this show, and I'm going, can this be an answer? Could it? I mean, this is why they signed Wallman to this long contract. That's why they felt that he could be on the other side. It hasn't worked out at all. Even on the fifth goal, man, think about, Beckett Seneca's coming in, and between Wallman and Nurse, they're backing in. It's rec hockey back in for defense. And it's one toe drag, it's two toe drags, and then it's a 5-hole shot on Jarry, who's kind of probably saying to his D, can we stand up the guys a little bit more? But you still got to make the save. So, two valuable points down the drain. Very valuable points down the drain. Connor McDavid, we were talking about him trying to maybe ease his way back in here. Ended up playing a ton, killed penalties. The Oilers had 5 penalty kills, killed off 4 of them. Connor played over 22 minutes, had 2 assists. He's got 98 on the year. Leon Draisaitl didn't record a point last night in a 5-goal game. But Matt Savoy was really good, was he not, last night? Even on, he picks up the power play goal. That was massive. It gives them, the Oilers, the lead again at 5-4. And that was after the number 1 unit was out there, for $140. So second unit comes out, and what happened? You get puck to the net. Who's in front? Podkolzin. Loose puck, bang it in instead of whipping it around and being fancy and trying to wait to record a shot or find a scoring opportunity. The Oilers did this to themselves last night. They did it to themselves. On the other side of that, I'll give the Ducks a lot of credit in that sense, because they kept playing. They kept coming hard. They didn't quit. They got some young guys, and they're fine. They're fine opening up the game because they feel that they have enough firepower. They have enough young guys that can create offense. Maybe they feel more comfortable in the high scoring games, and they're able, again, with their transition game, if they give up a chance, that they're quick enough to get back where the other team's in trouble. And we saw that last night as well. Hey, let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne. Hey, I should mention too, though, congrats to Joel Quenneville on his 1,000th win. That's a big milestone. They gathered for a little picture there at the end, the whole bit. And it's a long road. And you think about the time that he was suspended by the league and came back, and you can talk about, I think we've had enough controversial subjects for the week, but 1,000 wins, second coach to do that. So, hey, let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne, who had a late game. And what time did you get in the rack, Duke? 2:00?
It was
10:30
after 2:00.
Wow.
Yeah, the game was at 10:30. Caught the first half of the Oilers game live before heading over, and actually kind of as I got there, watched the bit of the second period from my truck on my phone, listened to it on the drive over, obviously, and then caught up the rest when I got home. Which, in a lot of cases, sometimes games like this, I wouldn't necessarily feel obligated to. The second half of the game, you watch the expedited version, the extended highlight pack, whatever the case. But when I took to the ice at Confed Arena, the Oilers were leading 4-2. I didn't see the last 2 goals in real time at the end of the second, but then I see the final score of 6-5 in regulation. I think, all right, well, I have to see firsthand how exactly that's fleshed out. And it was a wildly entertaining hockey game. Maybe not from a coach's perspective because it was sloppy, it was loose, up and down the ice for both teams to an extent. I think a little bit to be expected coming out of an extended break like that from the sloppiness side of things, but wildly entertaining all the same. And the Tropics game at the Confed actually had a lot of mirroring image.
Looked just like it.
A lot of mirroring images of that in the sense that one team jumped ahead by a couple goals on a few different occasions, and the other team clawed their way back. But in the unfortunate part of it is that I was the Tristan Jarry in this situation.
Did you get the hook?
There was no backup goalie to yank me onto the bench to try and salvage what was left of the hockey game at the end. Tropics lose, unfortunately. So it makes that 10:30 start all that much worse when you don't even pull out a W.
If you get pulled in rec hockey, adult league hockey, Duke, you know what they call that? That's the nickel slots. That's the end of the line.
End of the line. Yeah. Call it, rack it in. I certainly deserved to get the pull last night, but thankfully nobody waiting to replace me on the bench. So exciting hockey game, great full slate of return to action for the NHL. And now the Oilers, a disappointing result, disappointing process at times in the game, but you get a pretty quick turnaround to try and right the ship a little bit here, right back at it against the Kings.
Correct. Yeah. In LA tonight, and the Kings lost last night to Vegas by a score of 6-4. Vegas didn't dress a whole whack of guys. Marner, Theodore, Stone didn't play, and they go into LA and they still win. The good thing for the Oilers is because LA is sort of offensively challenged, although they did put 4 up, and Panarin's in the lineup now. They don't have as much firepower as what the Ducks would have, and maybe if you're averaging 5 goals against in the last 8 games, maybe a good bet tonight would be less than 5 goals that the Oilers will allow. So Vegas beats the Kings last night. That's good news for the Oilers, really, when you think about it. Colorado beat Utah 4-2. That was good news for the Oilers as well. But when you look at the standings, and again, Duke had it as an in or out about what team could catch the Oilers. Well, you know what? Maybe the question should have been how many teams can catch the Oilers, because right now the Ducks move ahead of them, and they've got 2 games in hand. Utah is tied with the Oilers at 64 points. They've got a game in hand. And then Seattle is at 63 points. So, if the Oilers were to get down in the wild card situation here, which they are very close to doing, both Seattle and Utah could be passing the Oilers. The Kings 4 points back with 2 games in hand. So you think about tonight's game as a 4-pointer. If the Kings were to win in regulation, wow, 2 points back. 2 points back with 2 games in hand. The Toronto Maple Leafs went into Tampa Bay, didn't have much at all. I watched that game a little bit too as well, leading up to the Oilers. Tampa's just 21-1 in its last 22 games. And right now, Tampa is as good as any team in the league, including those 3 teams in the West. They might be even better than how some of the teams are playing in that Central Division. Text line 833-401-1440. Man, and it is not pleasant. It is not pleasant this morning, as you can imagine. A lot of talk about, let's see here. Oh, James, KK, never mind the movie Groundhog Day. Just watch the Oilers. It's the same plot. King of Fort Nasty says, that sounds, is that today? No, that's yesterday. Correction, 4 points down the drain. Talking about a 4-point game, I guess. Bad Niv. The Nurse Wallman pairing has to be broken up. They're just a complete joke out there. Well, the 5th goal, backing in. The 6th goal. And you know what? Even if you look at on that 6th goal, the game-winning goal, check out Wallman on the play. Standing to the side of the net. So once Leo Carlson comes from behind the net and centers the puck to Kreider, Wallman does the old, he flattens up like, he does the plywood board, because he's almost like he doesn't want to, big shot's coming, it could hit me, instead of trying to get and make a play, or maybe go down to make a block or something like that. So that whole play, that one really, especially with a $1:15 left, that was really bad. Coming up on the big program, obviously we will get to your text at 833-401-1440. We got Chris Meany from NHL.com at 7:20. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet at 8 o'clock. We got Frank Saravalli from Frankly Hockey after Frank couldn't make it on Tuesday. He'll check in at 8:20. It's a big weekend for Golden Bears volleyball. So head coach Brock Davidoff will be with us with us at 9 o'clock. Laddie Schmid will check in sometime around 9:30. And then, hey, we got the great Jimmy Fox out of L.A., the Kings analyst, and we'll discuss tonight's Oilers and L.A. Kings game for sure. Should mention that a couple of other notes in the sporting world. Max Scherzer overnight, apparently, and it's not official yet, will be signing a contract with the Toronto Blue Jays to return to the Jays pitching staff. In what capacity? It's hard to see what fit he has, but man, the guy's almost like another pitching coach, another coach on the bench, leaning over the rail, is he not? But he'll be probably announced today, 41 years old, through 85 innings last year. We'll see where that goes. Second straight night, the Toronto Raptors had an opportunity to knock off a really good basketball team, and they let one get away. The Raptors lose to the San Antonio Spurs 110-107. They were up 12 points going into the fourth quarter, could not close it out for the second straight game after they had an opportunity against OKC where the game was tied 101 with about 4 minutes left. Similar fashion yesterday. So 2 lost opportunities, you could say, for the Toronto Raptors after playing 2 of the very best teams in the Western Conference. When we come back, Chris Meany from NHL.com on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, great values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Karius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
Time for a new career in 2026? Or maybe your kid is still pondering their path. Good news! Weiss Johnson is hiring. Hi, it's Dennis, and not only are we hiring for heating and air conditioning, we're also looking for experienced plumbers and gas fitters. With the growth in residential development, there's no shortage of opportunities at Weiss Johnson. Choose your path with us. Learn from one of the industry leaders, and we will grow together. Receive great benefits and school reimbursement as well. Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 720 in Edmonton. Time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we can meet all your vehicle needs and more. And that has a lot to do with our digital vehicle report. We just don't tell you what your car needs. We will show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today as we welcome back Chris Meany from NHL.com. Morning, Chris. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Hey, happy Thursday, Kevin. Appreciate the invite as always. How's things?
Well, last night was a debacle as far as the Oilers go in Anaheim, coughing up a couple leads. Hey, for you, how do you, like when you got all the West Coast games and obviously, the Leafs and Tampa were, front of mind for you, and there's some other Eastern games. How do you guys handle it, and in particular yourself, when you got, like for that's a 10:30 Eastern start for the Leafs and Ducks?
Yeah, I'm in the far East Coast too. So those last night, that Oilers game, the puck dropped just after 11:30. So I have a new baby. She's 9 months old, so her sleeping pattern is all over the place. So I don't mind it. I've always been a guy that watches the West Coast games. I mean, the Oilers and the Flames and the Canucks I've watched for years. And, a couple of teams in the West, certainly in Cali, and you saw it a little bit last night, the Anaheim Ducks and the San Jose Sharks. They're exciting squads. They have nice young cores. They play high event hockey. They give up a lot of chances, but they can also score as well. So those games on the West Coast, they've been highly entertaining. But yeah, I mean, I'll sleep in the summer.
No kidding, Chris. Yeah. So, like, if you're looking at this game last night, Oilers and Ducks, and you mentioned it, and it was great to see Leo Carlsson back. And I mean, Team Sweden really missed him at the Olympics. Maybe he could have been a difference maker. He had a goal and 2 assists last night, and he's big, and that's the thing. The talent that the Ducks have put together here with Beckett Seneca, he's a big guy already. Carlson's a big guy. They're not just quick and fast. They got some size and some meat to them.
Yeah, they really do. And now we're looking at the Pacific, and it's been an inconsistent division. There's no question about that. But the Ducks are sitting there in second place with 65 points. They have one more point than the Edmonton Oilers and 2 games in hand. But you're right. I mean, Leo Carlsson is one of the better players in the NHL at his age. And we're seeing a breakout campaign. And I remember, in the draft, there was a lot of rumblings whether the Ducks should have taken another player, like potentially Adam Fantilli. And I think they surprised some people with Leo Carlsson. But he is a two-way forward. He's got a lot of size, as you alluded to. He can score. He's got playmaking ability. You're absolutely right. Team Sweden certainly was a big blow not to have him. I would imagine he would have been their number one center with guys like Elias Pettersson and Mika Zibanejad on that squad. But you look up and down, I think they have one of the best young cores in hockey. You mentioned Seneca as well. Mason McTavish, Cutter Gauthier's had a breakout campaign as a sophomore forward who loves to shoot the puck. He's among the leaders in shots and shot attempts. His shot is very heavy, has a lot of great edge stats. You have Jackson Lacombe on the back end, who we didn't see for Team USA, but he's got a lot of speed and playmaking ability as well. And so they kind of, when you look up and down their lineup, they have the youth that we're talking about. You can mix in guys like Troy Terry, who's a little bit older now. Of course, they brought in Chris Kreider. They have Strome on the team, Killorn. So there's a lot of mix of just nice young youth, talent, skill, speed, and then the veteran presence. Joel Quenneville obviously has a ton of experience behind the bench as well. So it's not surprising to me that they're in a playoff spot. I don't think they'll be aggressive at the deadline because they'll probably just stay the course, maybe 1 or 2 pieces that they add on the back end. But I think that's where, with a young team, of course, Kevin, you're going to make mistakes in your own end. And they do give up a lot of rubber, and they do give up a lot of goals. They have some experience in the back end with Trouba and Gudas, but they probably need a little bit something else. But hey, if you're a Ducks fan, you're loving where they're at. If you're the front office as well, you're feeling pretty good at this point of the season that you're in a playoff race.
Yeah. Chris Meany with us from NHL.com. So you mentioned those 5 guys, the young guys in Gauthier, Carlsson, Lacombe, McTavish. and Seneca. And I mean, I'm just kind of looking at their average height and weight, and we're looking probably 6'1", 6'2", and 205 for a lot of young guys. When you do the advanced edge stats, do you ever take that like into advantage as far as like speed bursts and stuff like that, where maybe a smaller player that has the ability to get his wheels moving quicker compared to some bigger bodies that still can get from point A to B, if you know what I mean, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are certainly things that we take a look at. NHL edge stats, and for me, I love the speed bursts. Right, it's a quick game. You don't see a ton of power forge, really. Slavkovsky comes to mind as a 21-year-old who was, I thought, fantastic at the Olympics, and he's a big body that can take it to the net. And when I look at this Ducks team, you just rattled off some numbers there of their size. I think it's very beneficial to have some size with speed, and I think you see that with Leo Carlsson and certainly Cutter Gauthier. I know he's not a big guy that's going to throw his body around all the time, but he has electric speed and electric shot. So when you mix in today's game compared to 20, 30 years ago, you have, a lot of speedsters on teams, and you look at some of the edge stats, you see some of the fastest teams in the league, the Oilers and the Avs, the Canadians, the Lightning. These are really good hockey teams in the NHL. So certainly you have to have some speed, but it's nice to have some size. And certainly when the puck drops in the playoffs, having size is definitely an advantage. You can have all the speed you want, but you got to get to those hard areas. Mm-hmm. And certainly the Ducks can do that.
Chris Meany with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Just want to stay with the Oilers here in a little bit and talk about Matt Savoy, if we could, for a couple of moments. He had a goal and 2 assists last night. Was pretty instrumental on the first couple of goals with a really nice pass. The second goal that he was out for with the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goal, he stayed. It was the extended part of his shift, and he kind of caused some turmoil behind the net and out in front of it, and then he scored his power play goal. When you lay down his edge stats, what's it telling you, Chris, and what are you seeing from a guy like Matt Savoy?
I think, the skill set's there. It's always been there, dating back to before, he put on an NHL jersey. When you see the numbers, 21 points, 10 goals in 59 games, it's not going to blow you away. But I thought, 16, 28, that's significant for him in terms of time on ice. Sometimes you see sub 10. Sometimes I've seen him up in the, in a top 6 role, and not looking out of place, playing alongside Leon Draisaitl. I know he's had some moments with McDavid as well, but I think he's got a really bright offensive mind. Like, I know you're talking about some mistakes, but he can move the puck, and you can see the playmaking that he has. Some of his edge stats don't particularly stand out. His max skating speed is in the 80th percentile, which is pretty solid. When you look at skating distance, he doesn't get a ton of ice time, but when you look at, skating per 60 minutes, a little bit more for him. Shot locations, like to see him maybe be a little bit more aggressive shooting the puck. He's got 31 mid-range shots, which was in the 76th percentile. And then, of course, the goals, he's got the 5 high danger goals, which is in the 56th percentile. So, I mean, this is his first full season, really, in the NHL. His offensive zone starts are not jumping off the page, so he's not really put into situations to have success when he comes off the bench. And this is a kid who's got a ton of skill. I think the Oilers should continue to be patient with him. And listen, it was a tough game last night. I don't know how you feel about what you're seeing from Tristan Jarry. I know he can offer a little bit more, but I thought it was kind of telling last night in a tie game in the third period. He gets yanked. So I think ultimately, you're Oilers fan, you're not worried about the offense. Your patient Savoy does some really good things, but I think cleaning things up in their own end and getting a save is what we've been talking about with Edmonton for the past few years. Yeah,
Chris, I don't recall the last time that I saw a goalie pulled. With the score being tied, at 5-5. Goalies have obviously been pulled. Maybe it was a 5-4 goal or something like that. But to be tied, that was to me, the coaches had enough. Knobloch had said, like, what are we doing here? How long can we wait? But I mean, when you saw Jarry last night, I look at the first goal, wasn't good. The fourth goal, I didn't like that one at all. Long point shot from Owen Zellweger, and a good local product. But the defense backed in on the 5-5 goal. And then, the 6-5 goal, that's not his fault. That's on everyone else with the campfire defense standing around watching. But I don't know. I mean, the goaltending since the trade hasn't been an upgrade since they made the trade.
No, it hasn't. And, I don't want to say it was a sideways move. I know that they probably felt like they wanted to do something, but at the same time, I thought Skinner took a lot of heat. I mean, this is a guy, at the end of the day, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals back-to-back years, and he had some nice moments. And I thought in particular, he was fantastic against the Dallas Stars in that series. But this is the move that they made. Tristan Jarry does have a lot of experience. He's been on good teams. He's had some nice moments. Sometimes it does take a little bit for a goaltender, but the confidence doesn't seem to be there for him at the moment. He's allowed 4+ goals in 4 straight games. But this is a team that Edmonton, at the end of the day, I do think that they'll make the playoffs. The division's certainly up for grabs. If they can have home ice and have everything run through Edmonton, that's going to be a huge plus. And at the end of the day, when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on your team, and let's be honest about Zach Hyman is an elite goal scorer as well. So there's a lot to like about the Oilers, and I do think that Jarry will figure this thing out. But he's got to do it probably pretty soon.
Yeah, well, and again, it has been. Well, it's not even a sideways move right now. It's not even a sideways right now, and especially like if you were to not attach everything else, like a Kulak and a second rounder. I mean, now that trade is so tilted, it's not even funny. Chris Meany with us, NHL.com. So obviously you had some good eyeballs on that Leafs game in Tampa Bay. I watched that one. I was thinking, honestly, when it was 3-0 and Gensel missed that open net, it's a way different scenario, but I thought of Patrick Stefan here years ago. That was the first thing that came to mind. But what did you make of that whole tilt when you were watching that one, Chris?
I'll never forget the Patrick Stefan. I remember watching that with a few buddies, and I think there was a guy or two who had Dallas maybe on the money line, and I saw that, and then Hemsky back the other way. So that will always stick with me. But the Lightning are legit. It's no surprise. But when I look at the Eastern Conference, there's some nice stories in the Atlantic with the Canadians and the Red Wings and the Buffalo Sabres, who won again last night. The Boston Bruins are hanging around in this thing. There's some teams in the Metro that have been pretty inconsistent outside of the Carolina Hurricanes. And I think this is the Lightning year, right? It's been the past couple years after we saw them in the Stanley Cup Finals in 3 straight years. And then, they ran into the Panthers, and I don't know. The Panthers are really hurting at the moment. I don't know if they'll get in, but Tampa is fully loaded, and they've dealt with a lot of injuries. Kucherov has missed time, and he's been absolutely unbelievable again this season. Braden Point returns, and obviously Team Canada would have loved to have him, and you wonder how close he was having, the gold medal game on Sunday, and then him being able to play here last night and productive. Jake Gensel, Brendan Hagel, Darren Raddysh is having a breakout campaign. When you look at the edge stats, this is a guy who's got a lethal shot from the back end, and he is having an absolute monster season from the Lightning. And then you have Vasilevsky between the pipes. So the Leafs are hurting. On the other side, they allow the most shots on goal per game. They're among the leaders in 5-5 goals allowed per game. I think they've allowed the 6th most after last night. They still have some firepower up front, but, defensively, they've given up a whole lot. They've been without one of their best defensive defensemen in Chris Tanev for a majority of the season. Joseph Wall has missed time. Anthony Stolarz has also missed time. So I see one team, they're headed in different directions. Like the Tampa Bay Lightning I think they have the second shortest odds to win the Stanley Cup. I think they have a really good path in the Eastern Conference. And I don't believe we'll see the Maple Leafs make the playoffs. And I wonder if they're going to trade some players here. Like Bobby McMann is a guy that potentially could get moved. I think he'd be a good fit with the Oilers. He brings a lot of speed, and he could shoot the puck as well, and maybe find himself a role in the top 6 should they decide to add, which I'm sure that they will. But the Leafs are in a tough spot. But my goodness, man, the Lightning. I think we just got to the 3 years. We just they're so good, and people got sick of them and bored of them. But they're still just as good, and the window is still open.
Chris Meany with us from NHL.com. Hey, just from your perspective, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about Bobby McMann for a long time here. He played his junior around here. And to be honest with you, we've been discussing him for a long time, even before, because he's one of those guys when you're at a price point that you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. You think there's ever a scenario where the Leafs say, and Bobby McCann says, there's the two sides can come together where there's a bit of a discount, but he's still getting paid to stay in Toronto.
Yeah, I think it's certainly an option for the Leafs. I mean, they don't need to move on from him. And as you're talking through that, it's nice to have a player that can move up and down your lineup like he has. He's had times with Austin Matthews on the first line this year, and he's played on the second line with John Tavares. He's been given power play opportunity. When I look at some of the edge stats of the Leafs, it's one thing that stands out. They're not a very quick team. So it's nice to have some speed up and down your lineup, which we've been talking about here. And I can't imagine that the contract would be too hefty. And if you're the Maple Leafs, you lost Mitch Marner last year. You weren't really able to replace him at the time. I'm sure they're going to be aggressive over the next couple of seasons, whether it's a trade or through free agency. But being able to keep a guy like him and maybe he's just a third line guy, and that's fine. But again, he can move up and down the lineup. He can shoot the puck as well, and he's having a good season. 19 goals in 57 games, and he showed us before over the past that he can put the puck in the net.
Whenever I go to the edge stats, and then basically after the Oilers play, and I just, I punch it up just now to see the max skating speed, and it's Connor McDavid. How many times is it Connor after every time the Oilers play for you guys?
Yeah, every game. Pretty much every game. Again, when you see the max speed, it's also the fastest of any player this season. And I think the second fastest since we've been tracking over the last few years. But when you look at just the overall, the speed bursts, and I know I'm not breaking any news here, but Connor McDavid is electric. And you see the 22 plus 108. Owen Tippett is second with 37. So he's got a wide gap there. And then when you look at the 20 plus, he's, around 500. And you got Nathan McKinnon there in second. And you look at just 20 to 22, you're seeing well over 100 there for McDavid. So yeah, he's a freak of nature in a good way. It's really fun to watch him, and he's always motivated. I heard him yesterday. I liked some of his answers that he said, and he's getting opportunities. I think of Stevie Y. I think of Steve Yzerman. I remember the media was pretty hard on Steve Yzerman. He had good seasons, and the Red Wings could never really, win that cup. And then on the other side of 30, what did they win? Back-to-back Stanley Cups. He finishes with 3 cups. And yeah, I mean, McDavid's still like in his prime. He still has a lot of elite years left. And I think, he's going to get his cup. He's going to get his opportunities again.
So much for sort of kind of pulling the reins back on a guy that came back from Italy. He had for total miles skated last night, 3.85. That's Mark Scheifele had 3.94 for what you guys tracked last night. So, and Matthews was 4th. So, I mean, so much for coming back and, kind of easing your way back in to things. I don't know if you can answer this question, Chris, because we had a texter and I wanted to know about ice times over at the Olympics and things like that. And a lot of this, how you guys do your information and acquire it is, with the chips and everything like that. Now, did some texter said they didn't have chips in the Olympic sweaters. So how did they go about time on ice and things like that? And were they able to figure out stats to the extent where you guys do?
No, unfortunately, no. We weren't like when, the Four Nations face off, we were able to see the speed burst and the shot velocity of everybody. So it was a little bit more challenging. And, but we did get, time on ice and shots on goal and, the basic stats and the goals and the assists. But I really would have loved to see some of the speed bursts because the best on best is, man, it was just so fun to watch. I absolutely missed it. I thought the games were amazing, especially when it got to single elimination. We had 3 or 4 overtime games in a row. And of course, that gold medal game where Canada was just continuing to push the pace, relentless pressure. I thought that the speed was on full display for Canada. They were getting pucks in deep and throwing their body around and creating a lot of turnovers and loose pucks. They had a lot of quality chances. Look at the scoring chances were roughly 45 to 23 in favor of Canada, and they dominated after the first period. But yeah, we weren't really able to see some of the speed burst, but when we did track it at the Four Nations face-off, I mean, it was what you see currently. McDavid up at the top, and Jack Eichel for Team USA is a very underrated player when it comes to edge stats as well. I don't think he really gets the attention he deserves, or the credit rather. But yeah, we didn't get to see all that stuff, unfortunately, at the Olympics.
Exactly. Hey, Chris, great stuff. Really appreciate you coming on. Is it time for a diaper change for you?
Might be, yeah. We're going to jump on the NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast here in a little bit. We're going to talk some trade deadline stuff and give some love to the Minnesota Wild, who've been one of the better teams in the NHL since they acquired Quinn Hughes. But I think the partner has the diaper change for a little bit, but there's a lot of action on the ice tonight, so I'm sure we'll both be up watching tonight. Always appreciate the invite, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. That's Chris Meany from NHL.com. And our puck report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, we got one thing on our mind. It is your vehicle, from wheels to tires to oil changes. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. Also, maybe some Oilers post from last night on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram, and Twitch.
Once upon this Saturday night, your heroes on the Edmonton Oil Kings host some extra special royalty in Ice District.
Princess Night at Rogers Place is back as your Regal Oil Kings look to vanquish the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Fans can dress as their favorite royal, get a free tiara, and find princesses roaming the concourse all night for the ultimate selfie.
Plus, Calmont Kids food combos are $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Princess Night, Saturday at 7.
Happily Ever After entertainment at Rogers Place begins at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Start your day with a blast of sports. Kevin Karius, along with Brandon Douglas, brings the fire, the fun, and the fearless takes. Weekdays, 7 to 11. Text Kevin, 883-401-1440. Mornings with Sports 1440.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvanceelliott.com today, because it's time to be the man you remember.
Crave presents a new must-see original crime drama.
You think you can just walk away with drug money and nobody's gonna come find you?
The Borderline.
You killed my friend.
Set along the Thousand Islands border, a cop blurs the line to protect his past.
I'm gonna keep you out of jail.
Starring Stephen Amell, Tamara Podemski, Hamza Haq, and Minnie Driver.
Did you catch the bad guys?
I always catch the bad guys.
The Borderline. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Kevin Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 744 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne with you. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. Having Chris Meany on, and I know like he's with NHL.com, Sirius XM, NHL Radio. Like everyone sort of works kind of together, you know, in that sense. I wanted to just mention, and then a shout out to Boomer Gordon passed away from Sirius XM NHL Radio. Now, we never ever had Boomer on our show, Duke, but with Jake Hahn, like it was the Boomer and Jake show all the time.
Yeah, they co-hosted The Point together. Yeah. Obviously, did a lot of work with Ryan Payton, a lot of our other regular guests, whether it be David Pagnotta, Dennis Bernstein, the guys from the fourth period. Yeah, I dropped a couple messages out to those guys that we
Good
have
stuff,
familiar contact with yesterday, just sharing our condolences on behalf of the station, everyone. Really tough news. I mean, he was a great broadcaster. I know you caught the show a lot in the afternoon on your meanderings around the city, myself as well. And by all accounts, obviously haven't never met him, just like a stand-up guy, fun to hang out with, a guy you want to go, catch a drink with, chat about the game or whatever. So wishing the best to his family and loved ones. Unfortunate news. Really courageous battle with cancer that unfortunately came to an end.
And for Jake, he's been on so many times and being his partner for all these years, as you say, on the point. So Jake, all the very best to you and everybody else at Sirius XM NHL Radio. It's a really, really great article about his, when he started there, and he wasn't on the air, he was more of you could call it a production assistant technically. And then, sort of worked his way up here in the last several years. So all the very best to everybody at Sirius XM NHL Radio. Following last night's 6-5 loss, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, Chris Knobloch, addressed the media, and here are those comments.
Start with what you liked about that game, what you saw that you kind of were impressed by your team.
As usual, I thought we had a lot of good scoring chances, and throughout the lineup, I think Lazar's line was good. Rico's line had some good chances, and of course, our top two lines, as usual, had some nice chances. I thought there were some really good performances from guys. Savoy was one of them. That's one of his strongest games this year. Penalty kill, he scores on the power play, 5-on-5, creating a lot of chances. So there was a lot of good performances by guys.
Did your goaltending, was that the difference in the game?
Yeah, obviously I wasn't happy with the goaltending. The goals that we gave up, especially in the third period, I didn't like those. And definitely there was other mistakes there, but part of it is you need better goaltending, and tonight wasn't one of his best games.
Yeah, your team has been giving up a lot of goals, and I know it's a huge project around here to get the goals against down and put your defensive game together. It didn't seem like you gave up too much tonight, but it's hard to build a footing, I guess, when stuff's going in that are not grade A's. Is that fair?
Yeah. Not everything has to be a grade A to go in. That's, sometimes that happens. We score on goals that aren't grade A's. But how many of those are going in? And that's something that you trying to minimize.
What have you learned about Tristan so far through knowing him that tells you that he can, rebound the way that he needs to?
Well, he's been in the league for as long as he has. Obviously, there's been times where he hasn't played at his best, but for him to have a career that he has and been in the league as long as he can, obviously he's been able to regroup and play well.
Knobloch, following the contest last night, 6-5, Oilers gave up two goal leads, one goal lead. And again, to me, when you're up 4-2 after two, that's the big one. Even 5-4 after, the power play goal by, you got a power play goal to make it 5-4 by Matt Savoy. Those are you got to find a way to close these games out, and the Oilers haven't been able to do that. And again, 40 goals against in the last 8 games, and it's not going to cut it. Our text line's really, really obviously very negative this morning, incredibly negative. So, talking about the Oilers packing it in and, looking at next year already, not even trying to make a playoff run here. I think that is a little extreme. Do you not think, listeners? Do you think just because they lost this one game coming out of the Olympic break, they're still in a playoff position? Yeah, their points percentage puts them below the cut line. But I think it is a little, extreme and knee-jerk reaction to say, because of what happened last night, they should not acquire talent at the deadline. Like, people are saying sell things off and look to next year here. I think that's got to be a little crazy talk, is it not? 833-401-1440. Where's that one, Duke? I gotta find just a lot of talk about the defense last night, and they're coming in so fast that the text line can't keep up. Even Blair says something about the refs last night. I don't think Blair says, just me, the refs awful last night. And we had a couple other ones about that. That's not the reason the Oilers lost. I mean, I wouldn't put that on at all. The Ducks had 5 power plays. The Oilers had 2. The reason the Oilers lost last night wasn't because of officiating. So do you want to hear from anyone else here, Duke? Well, we got... Yeah, they're a little bit shorter. Let's go to Matt Savoy. If we got Matt Savoy coming up again, Savoy was one of the better Oilers last night, had 1 goal, had 2 assists. That's his first 3-point game in the NHL. And for a while there, it looked like he had the game winner until Seneca and then Gauthier scored goals 5 and 6 to give the Ducks win. Here's what the Oilers rookie had to say last night.
Matt, what did you see as the difference tonight?
I thought it was a hard-fought game. Trading chances, both sides. Just gave up a little too much, and they were able to capitalize.
How difficult is it when you do score 5 goals, yet you still can't come away with the victory?
Yeah, it's tough. A little bit deflating, but you got to find a way to turn it around quick, and big 2 points tomorrow, so we got to be ready to go.
For you personally, a 3-point game with a goal and 2 assists, what did you like about where your game's at right now?
Just want to come out of the break hot, come out skating, come out playing my game, and I think the game in Bakersfield allowed me to kind of stay in a rhythm, and I feel good coming out of the break.
Yeah, nice start for you. Around the puck all night. That actually goes in a little bit for you. Make a couple plays. It's good to have this game to set up the rest of your after the break here, right? The last 25 games.
Yeah, for sure. Any kind of momentum going down the stretch is huge. This is a big stretch for us to really go on a heater and cement ourselves in the playoffs. So, we're looking for a big stretch, and we're looking forward to it.
So the issue here is you guys are giving up 5 a night, and you have been for about 2 weeks here. I know you're cognizant of that, and everyone's trying to fix it, but what do you think's got to happen here? It's didn't change tonight. Lots of chances given.
I think we got to dig in. It starts in our room. Obviously, we got to dial into the defensive zone and really not give up as much as we've been giving up. I think it's that simple. So, big one tomorrow.
Yeah, big one tomorrow, and that is tonight as the Oilers go in to take on the LA Kings, losers of 4 straight. The Oilers are, and just 4 points again back of the Oilers. The Kings are in the Pacific standings. So, we've got a lot of people too, and we're going to have Spec coming up here, and there are so many people still ramping and reefing on Spec for a question that he asked Connor McDavid here. I'm going to throw this out to all the people that have been blasting Spec here. Because we had many, many, many texts on Monday and Tuesday. Not any yesterday, but Monday and Tuesday following the gold medal loss. And every one of them said, well, how about Connor? He can't win the big one. How about Connor? 2 Stanley Cup final losses. Now a gold medal loss. Is he a leader? Can he not do? Why can't he win? We had tons of texts about that. Not only that, go watch TSN. They had 2 specific panels, 2 of them, 2 specific panels that took up, I would say, anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes with their experts talking about it. But they're not the ones that end up asking the question in the room, are they? Specs on the road, again, the only visiting media on the road that is asking a question about it. And then what happens? People take the snippet, the question, they erase Specs' first part of the question saying, this is going to be a tough question. They erase that, and then they get rid of Connor's answer. So even like Tricky Dicky here. Dicky, I can't believe the concept of how you text in anymore. You never notice how Kate talks about all the texts, but he never reads them. It's just hockey, big guy. If people want to rip the Oilers, who cares? It's almost like the legacy media has a vested interest. Tricky Dicky wants everyone to talk to Spec and get on Spec about a ridiculous question that he asked McDavid. KK, you have to ask him. You have to ask him. If you don't press Spec on a question that is being universally ripped, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Well, there you go, Dicky Richard. Tricky Dicky. You don't know what it's like, though. All these people that have been coming down on a guy like Spec yesterday, you don't know what it's like to be in a room like that. And you end up taking little snippets, little pieces of information. Websites steal stuff. Like the whole internet and social media is an absolute cesspool of garbage right now. This whole week has been terrible. It's been awful. At the very beginning of the week, every media outlet was talking about this. Speck's going to be, we'll address it again today. Go read his article that was yesterday. I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating, I'll be honest. And it's frustrating being behind this mic after being in broadcasting for 35 years. And it really is at times. And sometimes I don't handle it very well. And sometimes maybe I get my back up on some certain things about what is out there. Yeah. Dallas, ha, ha, ha. That's what social media is. Well, it's social media, yeah. So when you go and steal everyone's information and put it out on your site, on your platform, what is that then? And then people think that's you that's doing the reporting. People think that's you garnering the information. They're not in the rooms. Things have changed so much in the sense where scribes, as you want to call them, and people always say, oh, you protect the old scribes like Jim Matheson and Spector and all these other guys. Well, how about everyone changing how that narrative is, how you are reporting on things? Maybe Speck should do what he did earlier in the year and say, all right, Connor, let's go off to the side here for a couple minutes and we'll talk about stuff that doesn't go out live or doesn't go out on a platform that is Oilers Plus or wherever it is immediately or within minutes. That's how it used to be. But now it's changed to the sense that it's so far extreme. It's so far to the extreme where it's a post-game conference that is done live and done immediately. When we come back, Mark Spector will be with us from SoCal. We'll talk about last night's game. We'll talk about some other stuff on the Kevin Karius Show. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high quality promotional products for your businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers returned to action last night. Did not go as planned. They lose to the Ducks 6-5. The final from the Honda Center. Giving up several two-goal leads in the process. With the win, Ducks head coach Joel Quenneville becomes the second in NHL history to reach 1,000 victories behind the bench. 7 of the games around the NHL. The Devils lose to the Sabres 2-1. Caps top the Flyers 3-1. Leafs get doubled up on by the Lightning 4-2. Stars beat the Kraken 4-1. Avalanche beat the Mammoth 4-2. Jets come back to beat the Canucks 3-2 in overtime. And a shorthanded Vegas Golden Knights team beats LA 6-4. In the AJ last night, Bonnieville beating Fort McMurray 4-2. Devon losing out in Lloydminster 6-5 in OT. And from the association, another close one for the Raptors, but they lose to the Spurs 110-107. Elsewhere, the Thunder fall in Detroit 124-116, and Golden State beats Memphis 133-112. Late last night, reports out of Toronto that Max Scherzer is rejoining the Blue Jays for his 19th MLB season. Scherzer joined the Blue Jays last year en route to a Game 7 defeat in the World Series. Coming up in hour 2, the Kevin Karius Show. We'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, great values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
McValue meals are here. Get the McDs you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:01 in Edmonton. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. You know what? Spring's coming, and so are the Corvettes. It feels weird to say that, especially with the way things have been going outside here lately. Come and see the vets inside, though. Come see them inside at Northgate Showroom. Get 0% financing. See more at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Hey, what's happening, Kev?
That would have been a late night for you, probably. And then what time you get back to the hotel and then up and at him early this morning, big guy?
Yeah, well, it's West Coast times. My wife phoned it at Shelka phoned at like 25 after 6, and she's like, "Now, are you an hour ahead of us or an hour behind us?"
Oh, come on, really? And what did she say too? Did the sunrise?
I just wanted to chat. She was in the truck going somewhere, wanted to have a little morning talk.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, I got to get up in 5 minutes anyway.
Oh, that's pretty cool. See ya. You should be talking to Shelka before you talk to me in the morning every day.
Oh, you think?
Well, I think it would be better for both of us.
Yeah, to get things straight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, straight. Yeah. Especially when we're in that bar sometime at what's the name of the bar at Alberta Beach?
Oh, yeah. Jungle
Gyms. Yeah. I can't wait to go in there this summer, Spec. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I walked into a bar last night here in Anaheim. We used to have a place here. It's right by the hotel, and I was on the way home from the game. I thought, I got nothing going on. I'll stop in, have a cold beer. But it's changed hands, so it's got a new name. It's got the same everything, same looking sign, same looking this, same looking that. But I'll go in anyway. So I go in there.
Which one is that? Which one is that?
It used to be called Doheni's.
Oh.
Now it's got some other name, but it looks exactly the same. It's an old strip mall. It's a bit of a dive bar, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I stop in there. I walk in there last night, and it's a fairly Spanish crowd, and so what? I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walk up to the bar. It's very small, and the bartender pops out of the thing, and he looks at me and says, "What do you want?" And this guy's got tattoos all over his face, like he looked like a snake.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, oh. And then I started looking around. I said, hang on, I'll figure out what I want. And I turned around and look around, and I realized everyone in there has got a lot of tattoos, and that's fine. I'm not an anti-tattoo guy.
Yeah.
But there wasn't almost any women in there. It was all Spanish guys with a bunch of tattoos. And I'm standing there in a suit coming from the rink. And I thought, this probably just isn't my place,
Well, yeah, are you looking behind your back? You're thinking maybe.
I don't know. Like, is this like some gangy place? I'm a freaking old guy. Like, I don't know what's happening in there. It used to be a place that people used to go who worked at Disney. They used to call Disney the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
They used to call this bar the sourest place on earth because all these Disney people who hated their jobs would come there and get hammered and complain about all the kids all night.
Oh, yeah.
It's the sourest place on earth. So I kind of liked the place, the people were, anyway, it's changed, man. It was like, ooh, every guys are playing pool, looking at me like, what are you doing in here? And I thought, you know what? I won't be in here for much longer. I split.
Well, there you go. I mean, anyway, well, you probably needed one or two after watching that game last night where the Oilers let one slip away with all these leads. Where's we talked about Darnell Nurse and Jake Wallman on the last couple goals. I mean, Tristan Jarry was really bad last night. I mean, there's a handful, and maybe the narrative is the same here, Spec. There are a handful of problems that still need to get fixed and don't look like they're getting fixed.
Yeah, I think, listen, we know this is a bit of a fragile team, especially defensively. They've had a hard time keeping pucks out of their net. Well, I really thought last night the goaltender just pulled the rug out from under his team.
Mm-hmm.
They get a 2-0 lead, and then he lets in a soft goal. Now it's 2-1. Think, okay, well, that's fine. It's only 2-1. And then you give them, the second Ducks goal is a good goal. It's a power play goal. I think it was a Kaloran off a scrambly play.
Correct.
Those go in. Then you boom, boom, you get a 2-goal lead right before the intermission. That should bury the Ducks, and that should really put wind in your sails. And then the goalie comes out, and he's horrible to start the third period. And, now you're running around. Now you're doing things that obviously Nurse wasn't any good. And that's the sixth goal. I mean, he just gives a puck away. It ends up in your net. Sure, was Bouchard soft on Carlson right in front of his net on the rebound goal? Yeah, it was. But
yeah, you're talking about the 4-3 goal, and that's right.
Carlson goal, right? Carlson.
That goal in 4-3, all you look at all between Bouchard and Ekholm and McDavid, all on that goal.
Whatever.
Watching
the puck goes in the slot, and Bouchard's standing right next to Carlson doing nothing, and Carlson puts the rebound in. Be hard on the guy, and there's no goal there. Don't kick it in the slot. Maybe if you're the goalie. But whatever, I
don't have a big problem with that goal. The 4-4 goal, that long kind of a floater point shot, you got to find a way and battle through that one.
It's a brutal goal. It's a brutal goal. Jarry let in 3 goals in a 6-5 loss that shouldn't go in.
Yeah.
Let in 3 that shouldn't go in and kick the 4th one right into the slot to Carlson. So I don't to me, if the goalie plays well, none of those other guys, maybe all those other guys have a chance to stabilize their game. Maybe when you're playing in a game where you've got some confidence and your goalie's battling and you're getting saves, maybe you build something where everybody comes together and has that great game.
Yeah.
But with that kind of goaltending, you can't build anything. You can't play well. You can't do anything right. Nothing's going to work. No one has any confidence. This Jarry's got to figure his game out and fast. That trade, I mean, the July 1st was a disaster. That trade could cost you the playoffs right now. The way Jarry's playing and the way he's played here, he's not only, you gave up a bunch of stuff for Skinner. This guy's 40% worse than Skinner at this point. He's not even close to Skinner's game.
Well, and then as you said, you're also giving up, Kulak, who's out of what's left here right now is could be the most calming influence, even though he had a bad stretch here.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, it's the GM's got to, he's at this point the team can't overcome its management. That's what I'm telling you. They wasted $7.5 million on July 1st. Absolutely wasted it. Frederick's got 3 points. Mangiapane doesn't help.
No.
And then he tried to get out of it with a goalie trade, and that's been the worst trade, one of the worst trades made in the NHL this season.
And that's fair to say.
It is fair to say.
It's even 1-for-1, it's not a lateral move.
Not even close. Not even close 1-for-1. And then you threw in Kulak in a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, worst trade in the league this year, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Matt Savoy, though, on a positive note, maybe one of his better games last night. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Really competed. You could tell right off the start. Tons and tons of jump.
Yeah.
Got an early assist, two assists in the first period, and then crashed the net, found a loose puck. You play well and loose pucks pop out to you, right? So no, he was awesome. That's a huge, great sign. Like there's some support scoring. It's the things you wasted last night. 3 points from Savoy. Support scoring. Roslovic was excellent. Ekholm was really good last night. You score 5 on the road and you don't get a point. Like, how do you score 5 on the road? You led that game until a minute and 15 left or whatever it was. And you don't even get a point. Like it's a very wasteful night for the Oil for sure.
Do you think, I don't recall a goaltender getting pulled, in a tie game with 13 minutes left. I don't remember the last time that happened.
No.
What kind of message do you think this is moving forward? I assume that, you're going to go with Ingram tonight. So.
Oh, you're for sure going with Ingram tonight. Here's a stat that I stumbled upon last night. Expected goals. I know you and me don't do a lot of expected goals, but I think it's an analytic that, in my opinion, needs time to flesh out. It's not a 3 or 5 or 6 game thing. It's a half a season thing. And so the Oilers have won the expected goals battle in 19 of their last 20 games and 28 of their last 33 games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're creating more chances in their last 33 games, 28 of them. They're creating more chances than the other team. Expected goals. We all know what an expected goal is. Their record is just barely over 500 in that time.
Yeah.
So what's it tell you? The other team needs way less chances to score more goals than the Oilers. The Oilers need way more chances. And I think we'd all agree the Oilers offense is pretty potent. They don't need a ton of chances. So they hemorrhage chances. It's their defensive play and it's their goaltending. But on a night like last night, I'm not blaming defensive play for that game. You can't. It's like building a house, on a foundation made of sugar, and then when it rains, blaming the guy who built the top floor.
Well, I look at you 5-5 goal spec. I mean, you got Nurse and Wallman backing in to, below the faceoff dots.
Yeah.
By the time Seneca gets away his second toe drag 1, toe drag 1, toe drag 2. These guys are backed in, but
for sure.
It's a bad goal.
Yeah.
But,
no one's aggressive. No one, I don't know. Listen, Nurse wasn't any good last night.
No.
And that last 6th goal, especially, that's a guy you count on to get you into overtime and make the right play with that puck. And it's in your net and it's 100% Nurse's fault. But all those guys, it's all secondary to me. If you get that kind of goaltending, you can't play your way out of it. You can't play your way through that level of goaltending. It doesn't matter. The rest of the team doesn't matter. Jarry's going to play like that.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. You addressed it with Greg's yesterday. We have so many people sending in stuff that makes no sense about your question to Connor. To me, it's a fair question. I think it's getting totally blown out of proportion. I think the way a lot of people have taken the snippet of erasing the start of your question and the end of his answer, it's not fair. But I just wanted to kind of think see where. I've said that people think you're disrespecting Connor, and I've said out of all the years, Speck has never said one bad thing about Connor ever. He's always come to his back here.
Yeah, it's first of all, what it's the misrepresentation that leaves a guy like me with no chance. The Spit and Chicklets guys put the clip out and it looks like he didn't even answer the question. And that's what gets people going.
Yeah.
If people would have immediately seen that he I told him, I said, this is a hard question. And he said, yeah, thanks. Nice question. And then he gave me an excellent answer. And I did a follow-up question and he gave me a good answer after that.
Yeah.
The people in the scrum yesterday, no one raised an eyebrow. The PR staff was right there. They never looked at me like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
McDavid never said anything to me. McDavid and I have a very good relationship. If he didn't like something, I'd find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, it gets misrepresented by these guys on, that people who get their news from Twitter and Facebook. This is a great example of it. That was completely misrepresented, mostly by Spit and Chicklets, and then picked up by other people. Like half the people out there right now think that Connor didn't even answer the question, right? Because they believe a totally disingenuous site like Spit and Chicklets that spend an entire, the guys that run it, they condone it, right?
Yeah.
Those Whitney and his guys, they condone that. They're okay with misrepresenting stuff for clicks because they make a ton of money at it, and that's good for them, I guess. But whatever. It's a tough time, right? We used to do, I guess I'd ask you this. I think we've had this part of the conversation. I'd ask anyone out there who has a job, if you had a camera on you while you were formulating that contract you're going to bring to a customer, or if you're a chef, if they filmed you and recorded you making the meal, not just here's the meal, but for us in journalism now, every question we ask, it's live and it's out there. And
exactly.
And sometimes I'd ask that same question again. I got no problem with what happened yesterday, but it is difficult when not only is our work recorded live for all to see, but then it gets clipped up and misrepresented and tossed out there to the public.
Yeah.
And then who's eating it for that, right? Spec is.
That's kind of what we said a little bit earlier. And that was a great response there, Spec, too. And hey, just a quick thought here. I mean, the LA Kings, if they were to win in regulation tonight, how much trouble are the Oilers in, do you think, here?
Well, listen, they're in trouble now. They have one goalie that's playing any good, and their defensive, they let in another 6 last night. So this team's letting in 4, 5, 6 goals every night of the week. So nobody wins like that. Nobody wins with that level of defensive posture and that level of goaltending. And, you played Connor McDavid 22 minutes last night, and you didn't get a point. So, yeah, regardless of what happens tonight, they're in a pickle, man. They're in a, look at the GM. I heard people last night saying maybe you can trade for Binnington. Well, the trade he's trying to make is for a guy he signed on July 1st. And now if he's got any trade capital left, he can't spend it on a goalie because where's the defenseman and the winger coming from? So, you weren't supposed to need a goalie at the deadline.
No.
Right? No, I don't love the look of this team one bit. And with what's going on in the Central, if you ever got that far, you telling me this team's going to beat the Colorado Avalanche or the Minnesota Wild?
Well, that's so far down the road here.
I know it is.
Well, to be honest with you, Spec, the way things are going, the Oilers could find themselves in wild card number 2 and then go into that pool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's, it's not great. It's not great. They got a lot of work to do, man.
You bet.
Some important positions.
Great stuff, Spec. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Everything good time-wise and all that?
Yep, for sure. I'll be with you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock out here.
Good stuff. Thanks, Beck.
All right, man.
Spectre from Rogers Sportsnet on the mark. Brought to you powered by Northgate Chevrolet. This truck's for you. Shop now at NorthgateGM.com. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit TitanSupply.ca.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Local Quality Market. Every fresh, chef-crafted gourmet meal is handcrafted from scratch with fresh ingredients and arrives at your door fully cooked and ready to heat, eat, and repeat. Order at meals.loca.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 822 in Edmonton. And time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, getting snakes deep, giving 110% day in and day out. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Kevin?
Good. How are you today, big guy?
I'm good. No rest for the weary. I'm over in Chicago for a couple days. Got a few Blackhawks games on the tube.
Are you doing the color commentary then?
No, I do pre-intermission and post.
Oh, yeah, because you filled in. How did that work last time? You were supposed to go somewhere else, and then you ended up in Chicago. That was to go to
I'm the fill-in guy. Whenever
World
everyone
Juniors,
else is busy, right? When they've got people at national broadcast or on vacation, I'm the guy who steps in. So
But you were supposed to go to World Juniors, right? And then you went to Chicago instead, correct?
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
Well, it's been a wild morning here, Frank. People are trying to say that maybe the Oilers should look to next year already. They don't have the right pieces in place. The Oilers are not capable even of making the playoffs. A lot of our texters believe that. I don't think that they're being a little in jest, but did you get a chance to see the game last night in Anaheim?
I did, and it was certainly a wild one, and I'm sure no one really feels comfortable with the goaltending and that situation, and obviously their inability to defend in front of Tristan Jarry stands out in a big way. But if I could offer a word of patience and calmness today, which is not normally my style. Look, this team is a work in progress, and what you see now may not be what you see next Friday. And when I say that, I'm not teasing in the sense that there's going to be some earth-shattering big deal that blows up part of the core. What I'm saying is they're working to try and find a significant defenseman to add to the mix. And one player isn't going to change everything, but one player coupled with a coaching change, coupled with some things being dialed in and better goaltending, and this team has the ability to look vastly different. Now, I understand the inconsistencies this year, and they're not, like, shouldn't be forgiven. This is a team that's gone to back-to-back cup finals. Like, they should be in a much better position. It shouldn't have been this big of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, some of the depth has eroded. There have been missteps along the way, and they need to find themselves again.
So when you're talking about a guy, as far as the defenseman goes here, and someone that could make an impact, would you be looking like, say, and I'm not saying a similar guy, but what happened when Matthias Ekholm was traded here in February of 2023? As soon as he got here, the Oilers changed as a defensive group. Now, are you saying that there's a guy out there that could possibly do that again?
Yes. I mean, well, that's what they're attempting to do.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's easier said than done here, Frank.
It is, but there's a few teams that are in rough positions that are also looking for change. Kind of like how you caught the Nashville Predators in 2023.
Having said that, 3 years ago, Frank, the Oilers had a lot more currency to deal with. They have very little now. So how can they make this happen? If you're looking at a defenseman that is of that kind of ilk, comparable to Matthias Ekholm?
They're going to have to get creative. And it's not just in currency, it's also in cap space. They don't have a ton of flexibility. That Mangiapane deal needs to be done like yesterday to move on. And in the end, that also might require giving up some more currency to move off of the contract. So I'm not suggesting at all that it's going to be easy. I'm just telling you that before you go in throwing in the towel on a long season, give it another couple weeks.
So we all know what they have for draft picks in 2026, virtually nothing. They've got a second and a third. So we would be looking at 2027 and 2028 first rounders in play here easily?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're not willing to let this season pass by and shrug and say, hey, you know what? This just isn't our year. You've got a guaranteed 3 playoff runs with Connor McDavid, and that means it's time to get down to business. You're not going to be worrying about a 2027 or 2028 third round pick that's impacting your team in the best of times in 2030 and beyond. So those are absolutely in play, and whatever else Dan Bowman and Jeff Jackson need to do in order to position this team properly to be able to go on a run, that's what they're seeking to do.
Do you think there's anyone here that has a no movement clause would be able to somehow relinquish that and the Oilers would be able to move on from that type of player?
I don't have the list right in front of me. Who are you thinking?
Well, I mean, the usual suspects. Like, I mean, there are, like, say, a no movement clause, and that's the core group, right? Besides Frederick, that has the no movement. Henrique has a no movement. Obviously, Wallman has a no movement, but his contract kicks in next year for $7 million.
Right.
So, is there anyone, and maybe not just no movement, but no trade, but that's a lot lesser. Like Mangiapane's got the no trade, but he does have, like, he doesn't have the no movement.
I mean, no one that you mentioned really stands out. Like, I think particularly with regards to Wallman, I mean, I don't know that anyone's signing up to take on that type of commitment right now. Henrique, in a lot of ways took like some lesser than full market value to stay. And so the payoff for him is to play in the playoffs. Mangiapane is the guy. I mean, and his group is willing to work with the Oilers in order to make something happen. but it's been slow going because the Oilers have essentially just tried to dump him for free. And now teams understand the position that they're in and have essentially backed Edmonton into a corner and said, well, we know you can't do anything else until you move him. What are you going to give us in order to make it happen?
Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. So when you have started really your post-Olympic trade target and your trade targets and your top 5, 10, whatever it may be, who are some of the most likely targets that you would have on that list that you see here moving in the next week and a little bit?
Well, some of the names have been talked about a lot. Vincent Trocheck in New York, Nazem Kadri, another center in Calgary, Blake Coleman seen as a missing piece. Mangiapane's on the board. I added Stuart Skinner yesterday from Pittsburgh. The goalie market is relatively thin, but curious to see if one of these playoff-bound teams steps up to shore up their goaltending or in an attempt to get into the playoffs. There's a few targets on Nashville. We talked about Tyler Myers yesterday and his position with the Vancouver Canucks, although he holds all the cards with the full no move. So that's just a general preview. One name that I would look at in particular with the Edmonton Oilers is Justin Falk. He's another guy from St. Louis. Mobile, not as mobile as he once was, but a solid puck mover. And that's, I think, the blend that they're seeking. Someone that can defend and someone that can get the puck up the ice. That's what they're looking for. And Falk is one of those guys that I believe is on Edmonton's list.
So if you were looking at a return, how close would be the return that the St. Louis Blues would be looking at for Justin Falk when you compare it to Rasmus Anderson? Because they're very close to comparable in the sense of what they make this year. Falk's got one more year at 6.1, but
Falk's a bit older, no?
Yeah, but okay, so what's the return then? Is it, I mean, you saw it's a first conditional, second, plus it was Zach Whitecloud.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a first and some other kind of element, whether it's a prospect or whether it's a mid-round pick. That sounds about right.
How big of a push do you think the Oilers would make for Tyler Myers?
I haven't heard his name mentioned at all with regards to the Oilers. And I think he's in a really unique situation. He's got a special family consideration that there's a big reason why he took a lot less than open market to stay in Vancouver. And I think it's caught some people by surprise that the Canucks have engaged in these conversations, given that they know what his circumstance is. And I think on his end, part of it is you're trying to read the writing on the wall, which is the full no move transitions into a no trade clause or the partial list in the summer. And you can either kind of have your say now or wait until the summer when you roll the dice and don't know where you land. So I think that's been a tough situation for Tyler Myers to try and sift through.
Frank Saravalli with us on Sports 1440. I haven't talked to you since the gold medal game, but that I wanted to discuss what happened on the ice in that game. So let's discuss that for a couple of minutes here, Frank. And I think I saw some posts where you thought that the American team was more complete than Canada, and I wanted to discuss that with you, and just the fact that you felt that, that Canada maybe was too aggressive at certain times in overtime and things like that. So I'll leave it with you, and maybe turning into a one-line team. And so I'll wait for your response, and then we can discuss.
Yeah. So look, I've seen. Well, look, I've had a lot of social media discord here over the last couple of days, but a lot of the pushback that I got from fans was along the lines of, how could you possibly say that Canada was a one-line team? Did you watch them dominate in the gold medal game? And it comes back to literacy. My point was, once they got to the knockout stage, once you got to the quarters and then into the semis, Canada's team looked vastly different than they did in the preliminary round. And it's not because of a step up in competition, because one of those teams was actually in their group that they beat handily earlier. But the ice time tells a big enough story as it is that if you are an Edmonton Oilers fan, part of what you saw was playing out on the world stage. Connor McDavid absolutely dominating play. And when he's on the bench, Canada's looking for some kind of other answer from someone else to consistently drive play. And the disparity in the ice time was abundantly clear. It told a story on its own. And this incredibly deep team with firepower, you lose Sidney Crosby, you lose other players, and it became a lot of individualized efforts. And I think that's what was on display in overtime. Like I'd never fault someone for their aggression and courage to try and get it done. Connor McDavid in the first 10 seconds of OT, winding up through the neutral zone with the puck on his stick, he wanted to end it. Nathan McKinnon took chances trying to end it. But in the end, the way that they played with that aggression left them vulnerable at the other end, as 3-on-3 does. And it became a very quick ending. The U.S. not only having the first giant opportunity on Quinn Hughes with that cross ice feed and the slap shot, but then also obviously Jack Hughes ending it. So I think the way that the last three games played out for Canada left them wanting a little bit more in terms of trust and everything else further down their lineup.
So some valid points there, for sure, Frank. I don't see the U.S. being more of a complete team, though, than Canada. This could have gone either way, and Canada, I'm sure you would agree, was by far the better team for the last two periods, and this game could have been easily 4 or 5-2. Would you agree with that?
I would, but I think that also really discounts the game that Connor Hellebuck had. And let me explain the more complete team commentary. Every facet of the U.S. roster was utilized. You had dedicated penalty killers that did a monstrous job in the tournament, 18 for 18. You had the best goalie in the tournament. You had the best defense core in the tournament. They used all of their lines. Is that not the definition of a more complete team as Canada pared down their ice time in such a significant way?
I don't think the numbers are that egregious, though, Frank. I mean, and again, take Sidney Crosby out of the mix here, and take, in the games.
Okay, so let's say the numbers and the ice time you agree are not egregious. If they have the best goalie and the best defense, and they certainly had the better special team in the gold medal game, does that not define more complete team?
Well, Frank, if Devon Taves scores into a net that is 23.5 feet looking at him, and 6 inches of square feet are looking.
Okay,
and he scores on that, and then also he scores
a double post, and
a double post by Faber, Frank. That's it. A double post by Faber. McKinnon's got the open net. The 2 breakaways. Canada was the better team in the gold medal game, Frank.
And didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Canada was the better team in the gold medal game. You have to admit that.
I've never not admitted that. I've never said that they weren't. I said over the course of the tournament, the U.S. proved to be the more complete team, and certainly over the course of the knockout stage. Complete meaning not played the better game. Which team utilized their roster better? It's 100%, and it's not even arguable to me that it was the U.S. Canada became a one-line team, period.
So how about like with Marner and Suzuki against the Czechs?
Did you watch Marner before he scored? He didn't do anything the entire game.
Scored, Frank. I mean, Frank, did you watch the Kachucks in the gold medal game? I mean, Brady Tkachuk had one opportunity on the power play late. Other than that, those 2 guys they did nothing.
I don't know why you think that these 2 things can't be true at the same time. That Canada outplayed the U.S. in the gold medal game, fact, and that the U.S. better utilized and it was a more complete team.
I listen. I don't think that they were again, Frank. Canada. So would you say that they were more of a complete team? Had Nathan McKinnon scored into an empty net and Canada wins in regulation? Would you have said that?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would have.
Okay, that's fair then. That's
the
fair.
fact that Canada needed to go to McKinnon, Celebrini, and McDavid, and that's all they had going.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that highlights my point. Doesn't matter if McKinnon scored. Doesn't matter if Suzuki scored or Marner scored.
Yeah.
John Cooper was searching for answers that he couldn't find.
The one thing that, and you questioned Bill Guerin's roster construction, but now after the gold medal comes in, Frank, so all those guys that you say that shouldn't have been on were key parts of being a complete team though, right?
Yes, 100%. Fully admitting that I was wrong. Mm-hmm. The job that they did on the penalty kill, going with 2 forwards on a 5-on-3 for 93 seconds,
mm-hmm.
Perfection on the PK. I mean, these are guys that, funny enough, don't even kill penalties on their own team. Came to Milan and knew that they wouldn't be taking a center stage in terms of offense and contribution, and not only found a way to chip in goals, but played a massive role on that team's overall success. Yes, I think they were a TEAM team.
Well, one thing that I think everyone, when we discuss what happened, everyone, and it's unfortunate, forgets that we watched a hell of a hockey game for 60 plus minutes, and sometimes I think people have forgotten that. I think that's the way it is. So, Frank, thanks as always.
I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could forget. It's like one of the best games that's ever been played.
But what I'm saying is, Frank, that instead of people talking about being one of the best games ever, we end up talking about, and for the whole week, we talk about everything else, all this other crap. That's the truth.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, that's kind of the point that I was trying to make before on social media. Sport is supposed to be unifying. It's what brings us together. And instead, somehow it's found a way to wedge us further apart.
Kind of did this week. Frank, good stuff. Is that game tonight? I haven't even looked at the schedule, to be honest with you, for you.
Yeah. The Hawks play tonight. Yep.
Yeah. And then
12 games tonight on the slate.
We're at 12 tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Sounds good, big guy.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kevin.
Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV, the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter, the #1 overall pick in your fantasy plumbing pool. That's mrrooter.ca. Well, we've had an interesting week, have we not? Hey, it has been right from Monday all the way to Thursday. I was telling the Duke in the commercial, kind of looking forward to the weekend here.
It's like the quote from 30 Rock with Alec Baldwin and Tina Fey is like, oh, what a week. Oh, it's like, Lemon, it's Wednesday. Granted, today is Thursday, of course, but still another Oilers game tonight for those of us on the local scene. As Frank mentioned, 12 games. I think as the NHL gets back into the full swing and the traded line talks heat up, the Olympics will fade from our conversation topics more and more as we progress into the weekend and next week. But I don't think it's going to ever completely be erased when these topics come up, that people...
Again, if Canada wins, everyone's bitching and complaining that, and say they score a power play goal late. What is everyone saying? Oh, Billy Guerin took Trocheck. Billy Guerin took Miller. Shouldn't have taken those guys. They needed more offense. They only scored 1 goal in regulation against Sweden. They only scored 1 goal in regulation against Canada. Take the Slovak semifinal out of it here, man.
Hey, Slovaks were a great story, but come that semifinal game, it was pretty clear that their little, unexpected run, Cinderella run, whatever you want to call it, had come to a pretty obvious end. And that's credit to the States, too. They played really well in that game, obviously. But,
Canada and the States could have both lost, Duke, right? In the
quarterfinals, for goodness sake. Forget the semifinal gold medal game. And I think you bring up a great point, and Frank was obviously in conjunction with you at the end of the hit there, that, like, let's take all of the bickering and ifs and buts and things out of it. Like, we got to watch, yes, it was at 6 o'clock in the morning, but we got to watch maybe one of the best hockey games we'll see in our respective lifetimes from a pure talent and gamesmanship and all things factored in perspective. So maybe that's how we should try and focus our efforts and attention from that game a little bit.
One thing that kind of slipped by the goalie here yesterday, Duke, were the ratings. And did you see them yesterday?
I thought I saw some earlier in the week, but they might have just been purely the Canadian ratings that I saw. Because I saw them earlier in the week comparing them to 14 and 2010 from a numbers viewers perspective.
You know, I look at it again, they were way lower. And is it because of the game time?
I think, yeah.
You know, the 2010 was way higher.
Oh, yeah, it was prime time, right? I mean,
wow, was it 11:30 in the morning BC time?
It's Olympic prime time.
Sure, but
compared
you know what I'm
to,
saying.
Yeah, well, I 100% I know what you mean, because you're not getting a 6:00 in the evening gold medal game. They're always played on Sundays, last day of the games, and 11:30 PT time is middle of the afternoon on Sunday, post NFL season in the States.
Mm-hmm.
It naturally sizes up to get more eyes on it as opposed to first thing in the morning.
When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's too much to keep up again this morning. We'll have to get the Duke to kind of give me a little rundown as well. 833-401-1440, the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade. With Will Hawk Beef Jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win trades with salad.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. The deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Ever had a problem returning auto parts? At Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock, we do things differently. Hi, it's Lisa, and we're proud to offer one of the best return policies in the business. When you shop with us, you buy with confidence, knowing that if it doesn't fit or if it's not the right part, we'll make it right. For nearly 50 years, Ed's Auto Salvage has helped Alberta drivers save money, stay on the roads, and shop stress-free. Trust the team that stands behind every part we sell. Visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:49 in Edmonton. Quick little segment before we go to break and then check in with Brock Davidic, Alberta Golden Bears, head coach of the volleyball team. They got a, here we go. It's Canada West playoffs, best of three. Actually, both the Pandas and the Golden Bears are home to Winnipeg. So games start tonight. With both teams going on the court. It'll be the ladies at 6, and then the Pandas finish up their match, and the Westmen from Winnipeg will take on the Golden Bears at 8 o'clock. So it's a little different, where sometimes they would go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it is tonight, and then it's tomorrow, and then if necessary, it is game number 3 set for Saturday night. So, I mean, these volleyball guys they impressed the hell out of me, man. Well, the women too. I mean, they're just so darn good. I remember when I first got here too, and Lori Eisler's Pandas were won 6 national championships, and they had so many great players. Like Tawana Wardlaw was just a beast up front, like between blocking and power hitting, and they had so many. There was a Polish woman, I can't remember her name now off the top of my head, but man, she was really good. So we'll check in with all of that at the top of the hour. Hey, Duke, are you willing to share your little story from last night with our listeners or not, regarding a couple of certain sprinkles?
Yeah. I have no problem.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I've never hidden it on the show. I like to gamble, do some sports betting, and as we always preach, you know your limit, stay within it, never bet more than you can afford to lose. And I'm not a big money guy, right? So my bets are usually in the smaller variety on single games. It's usually 10, maybe 20 bucks if I'm feeling really strong about something. And I was just so excited about the NHL returning to action last night. It was an 8-game slate. I kind of sprinkled across the board. I think on 6 of the games I had solo bets, and then parlayed all 8 together with 7 money lines, and then 1 puck line bet, which was Tampa Bay over the Leafs, and it cashed all 8 games across the line. The book I used gave a little extra boost to it as well with the parlay. So essentially, I turned $5 into about 1,000 on the bet, which I learned the knowledge. I learned of the win coming in at the end of the second intermission of the Tropics game, checking my phone on what was the final score of the Oilers game when we went onto the ice. The Jets were down. The Vegas was either down or tied, and all 3 of the nightcap games were comeback fashion for me to win this bet. Where when I was going into the start of my own hockey game, I wasn't feeling too optimistic, but they pull it out. So that was a nice little positive spin for me. And it's funny, we were sitting at the bar post Fantasy Frenzy yesterday when I put this bet in. And I said to Connor, because we'll make these jokes to each other sometimes when we're placing some bets and things, like, man, if I win this, I'm really treating myself to lunch tomorrow or something like that here in the mall, the food court or wherever. And I made the joke naturally. And I was lucky enough to get a win out of it, feeling pretty positive. Now the key, don't get greedy. You can't all of a sudden think you're a high roller just because those dollar signs in your book account are looming a little bit larger than they normally
so
are.
The guys must have been going, okay, Duke, you're bringing the beer next week and everything.
Well, I bring the beer almost every week. It wouldn't change anything. It was, a bit of it.
Well, okay, but now when you go and buy the $5.99 bag of ice, you're gonna no problem.
Oh, ice, no problem. I'll fill the freezer. I'll buy it in bulk here and fill my freezer at the apartment. But no, it was good. Yeah, I had a couple, as usual, a couple pops post game. Even the late nature of last night's game. Again, the rinky kick us out finally. Which, listen, I knew I was going to be up late watching the second half of the game when I got home anyway, so I didn't feel bad about staying for 1 extra beer after the game.
Oh, 1 extra one, yeah.
Well, you can't sit there and have a half dozen. Like, you still got to keep things on the rails.
I get you. Text 8
now tonight's Critters game may be a different story.
Well, it's the last game of the year.
Well, I pressed my luck and buy more 50-50 tickets than I normally do at the intermission for tonight's Critters game in Legal.
Sometimes and you're either gonna be you're going to handle this well. I know that. You're going to handle it well. But Critters in Legal tonight, I got a text from one of the organizers.
Like in Legal or Marty?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Is it Marty or Sean?
One of the organizers. And they said they threw this kind of an idea at me.
Oh, God.
And I said, oh, yeah, last game, go for it. So I think, Duke, what we need you to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind tonight. We need you to make sure that you're, just in the right frame of mind to handle the situation. How's that sound?
Oh, boy.
So
is this like going to be something that's sprung on me?
No. It'll be just
I have a feeling this has
like what?
Something to do with a notion or an idea that Marty has already floated to me about, because during the player introductions, every guy's got their nickname and stuff, and usually they'll just introduce me as, the Duke from Sports 1440. But then Marty had this idea about making me like the team bachelor, and I've got this rose to go try and give to someone in the stands. And I basically said, I'm like, hey, that's a funny idea. I absolutely do not want to do that.
It's the last game of the year, Duke.
Yeah.
It's the last game of the year. Well, I was going to get to a bunch of texts here. Now we got to go to break.
Instead, we were just too busy talking trops and critters and everything else.
But great ones. And I'm going to get to these when we come back at 9:20. Some really, good ones regarding Spec, regarding Frank, our conversation, the gold medal game, things like that. So we'll get to those coming up at 9:20. When we come back, Brock Davidoff, Golden Bears volleyball head coach. They're in action tonight down at the Salvo Community Sports Center up against Winnipeg, Canada West volleyball playoffs. The Pandas are as well. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers returned to action last night, not going to plan. They lose in Anaheim 6-5 at the hands of the Duck. With the win, Joel Quenneville, head coach of Anaheim, picks up his 1,000th in his career, just the second coach in NHL history to achieve the feat. 7 of the games around the league, including Sabres beating the Devils 2-1, Caps top the Flyers 3-1, Lightning double up on the Maple Leafs 4-2, Kraken fall to the Stars 4-1, Avalanche beat Utah 4-2, Jets get past the Canucks 3-2 in overtime, and a shorthanded Vegas team, they beat the Kings 6-4. In the AJ last night, Bonnieville winning at home 4-2 over Fort McMurray. Devon losing in Lloydminster 6-5 in overtime. And 5 games in the Association. Raptors, another close loss to a top team. San Antonio winning 110-107 from Toronto. And the Pistons, first place in the East, beat the number 1 team in the league, OKC, 124-116. First big trade from Combine Week in the NFL. The New York Jets are trading former first-round pick Jermaine Johnson to the Tennessee Titans for defensive tackle Devondre Sweat. Trade cannot be made official until the new league year starting in March. And late last night, Toronto Blue Jays making waves as they bring back veteran pitcher Max Scherzer to the fold. Scherzer returning for his 19th MLB season. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Golden Bears volleyball head coach Brock Davidoff, as well as our co-host, former NHL defenseman Ladis Labschmied. I'm Brandon Douglas, Center Sports 1440 Update.
This is Sports 1440. Broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow. The pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go?
Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
McValue meals are here. Get the McDs you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams. Whether it's retirement or your first home, the deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:01 in Edmonton. Time to talk a little university sports with a big volleyball weekend coming up starting tonight down at the Saville Community Sports Center with the Golden Bears and Pandas home to Winnipeg in Canada West playoff action as we welcome in Golden Bears head coach Brock Davidic to the program. Morning, Brock. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440. Once again, really appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I was thinking about, when we were covering you guys back 20-some years ago when you were playing for the Bears and I was working at Global, and, we used to always come down to the gym there and main gym, I guess it was so crazy back then. But, it's 20, was it 05 when you guys won the Nationals, right?
That's correct, yep.
Yeah, so it's like 20 years ago plus, and I was just like, you guys with, under Terry Danlick, you guys just had a hell of a team. Maybe just go back to that time when you were playing, coming from Red Deer, and then suiting up for the Golden Bears. So what you remember of a great championship team like 21 years ago?
Yeah, well, Terry had created quite the legacy. And that was in the middle of his teams making the national final, I think 8 years in a row. The team won in 02 and then 05 and then repeated back-to-back in, I think it was 08, 09. And he had created quite a legacy / dynasty then. For me, I grew up in Edmonton and then went to Red Deer, like you said, and then came back to U of A and had always dreamed about being part of the program because it was just such a tradition of excellence. And that there's so many amazing players that were playing at U of A that I aspired to be like. That specific year, the 05 year, we won. A lot of that was fueled by losing in 04. We lost in the fifth set, 15-13. We just got edged out by the U of S Huskies. So I remember that year there was a very discernible and palpable feeling every time we stepped in the gym of wanting to get back there and have another shot at that. And that fueled a lot of our training that year.
Yeah, I was just kind of going through the roster and seeing some old names from some 20 years ago, like Dallas Sunius. I remember Aaron Shula, who was just a great player. You were a setter on the team, but what was it about the cohesiveness? And you mentioned Terry Danlick too. So, I'll maybe ask a follow-up after you answer this, but just the cohesiveness of how that team came together, and as you said, fueled from 2004.
Yeah, well, even those guys you mentioned, so Aaron Shula, Dallas Sunius, there's also Nicholas Cundy, who's a huge part of that team. We all played together at Red Deer before for 2 years together, so the cohesiveness was, and even before that, so myself, Nicholas, and Dallas were playing together with Team Alberta before that, and even after U of A, we went on to play together with Team Canada. So there was just very deeply rooted relationships. We really understood who each other was as people and as players. So we were able to do some pretty high level things, because that's especially like I was, as a setter, I was in the center of those relationships, and your setter who's running the offense understands everyone. That can give you a bit of a leg up when I know exactly what guys are thinking, feeling, what we need to do to elevate each player in terms of attacking. And so, yeah, I think there was a background that extended before U of A, but Terry's always been a really good players coach. He knew how to really exploit those strengths and that history and how we were conducting ourselves and how we were coming together culturally and all of those types of things.
Brock Davidic with us on Sports 1440. So you still see TD, Terry Daniluk, daily being the GM, but if you go back to those like 20 years ago, Brock, how much do you still even take a day-to-day basis of preparation and how you speak to the players from what you learned from playing under Terry?
I think, we've been fortunate enough to go to the national championships 24 years in a row. And I took over the team in 18-19, and we've gone each year since then. We'll see how we fare this year. But what I've noticed at those championships with Terry, there's just a really profound yet simple type of wisdom where each year I'm learning one new thing. It might seem like a detail, but just from his experience, how impactful small things can be. And especially my early years learning from him, like how to go about managing a team at that level, because he'd been to it the most out of anyone in Canada. So those kind of, Terry is a very he understands the science of the game, the stats of the game, but he's very much a art versus science type of coach. And so I think to learn those lessons, you need to be with him a lot and understand him, how he operates, to really be able to capitalize off those lessons. And I've known Terry, before the time you mentioned, I've known him since I was 16, which is even before that 05 year. So it's been a very long time that he's just been a really big mentor for me. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to almost not through osmosis. I've paid very close attention to what when I was studying under Terry, and made a lot of notes to how I wanted to apply the things he has kind of created from the foundation he's created here. So it's been a really good learning opportunity for me.
Yeah. And I mean, there's an old saying about, coaches, you want a third of the team is going to like the coach, a third of the team probably not going to like the coach, and a third of the team may be indifferent. And one of the keys is to keep those indifferent guys away from the guys that don't like you. It's kind of a funny old story, but so how have you managed to, you take a little bit of Terry and maybe some other coaches, some other players that you've been with along the way to base your belief and how you want to assemble a team and how you want to coach a team. So, maybe just tell us your journey to get to where you are now, being who you want to be by coming from within, not from outside sources and people and things like that.
Yeah, it's funny you make that comment about players I think if all the players on the team are happy and like you as a coach, you're probably not doing a good job and you're probably losing. That's what I've found from my experience both as a player and as a coach, that you do need to find the level of challenge and demand on the players, so you're pushing them, and that will come with. I had a coach once tell me, I was playing for the national team and I didn't get selected for a travel roster to Australia. And I had, a good, honest relationship with him. And I said, I got to say, I resent you for this decision. And he said, that's okay, Brock. That's my job. I have to deal with athletes resenting me for decisions. And that's part of the job. And I really respected that coach for that. And segueing to your question about forming my coaching practice, one of the things Terry said early in the years when I was doing my master's under him is he said, you shouldn't coach exactly like me. You should learn from other sources and try to pull from other coaches. And that's what I've really tried to do. And I've played for a lot of great coaches, even just especially in Alberta, like Terry and Keith Hansen down in Red Deer. And I grew up playing for a really good club coach named Sean Skye, who's down in Calgary, and then went on to the national team with, Glenn Hogue, has a pretty legendary status there. And there was a really influential coach there named Chris Green. And so I tried to pull from all those coaches I played for, but then also pull from what I tried to think about creating my coaching style is what can I pull from as a player? Because I did get to play at a pretty high level, and I should try to use that as an advantage. So I would say it's a mosaic of my experiences that I've tried to create a coaching philosophy and coaching style from.
Mosaic, great word. Brock Davidic, Golden Bears volleyball head coach, who his squad will be put to the test starting tonight in the Canada West best of 3 quarterfinal against the Winnipeg Westmen. The Pandas are also in action this weekend against Winnipeg. So how does your squad stack up coming into this best of 3 quarterfinal against Winnipeg here tonight?
I think we stack up well. On paper, I think we have probably more firepower. Now, on paper only gets you so far. Our record isn't very good against Winnipeg. Like, we split with them in the regular season. Last year, they beat us in the Canada West final, although they've had some pretty key turnover. So I think that if we play well, we'll have a really good shot. But that's been a big part of playing in the Canada West. Any team can put you to the test and force you to not play well. So a lot of what we've been focusing on is making sure the 2 areas of our game, which are our identity, our attack and our serve, are refined and ready to go. But also, like, what is it mentally, socially that can help us play well, especially if a team pushes us.
Mm-hmm. I think when we had you on earlier in the year, Brock, you were talking about a little mix of veterans and rookies, as well as some second-year players. But maybe just want to touch on the first and second-year guys, and I think there's probably close to 10 of them in total. How have you seen their development over the course of this season?
Yeah, there's been some pretty impressive guys. We have a rookie, Grayson McDonald, who's a local kid who played with, for being a first year, is quite experienced. He won the Canada Games Championship over the summer. He played in the World Championships with Team Canada U19. Right before that, he was at the National Team Training Center in the fall before that. So even though he's a rookie, he's brought a lot of actual experience for being as young as he is. We have a second year named Jarvis Page, who's from Australia, who was with both the Australian B and A team over the summer. So he was able to he's made huge jumps from his first to his second year. And then our second year that's made the biggest impact is a local kid named Owen Harris, who's took over a starting role in his rookie year last year. And he's been a real force in the middle for us, a really physical, fiery player that's pretty fun to watch and brings a lot of, he's one of those guys that's just loading the gun with the firepower, but he brings a lot of energy and really gets the fans going. So it's fun to see him play.
Maybe just expand a little bit on Grayson McDonald that you opened up your answer with there. As you said, under the 19 and under Team Canada, but he's a local guy too, and maybe just touch on his past and what he's meant to you here.
Yeah, it's funny. Grayson's from Scona, as is Owen Harris, the guy I just mentioned. So we've had a good pipeline from Scona, but Grayson, it was interesting. Grayson coming up was a good middle, but needed to elevate his level to be a U of A middle. And he so badly wanted to come to U of A. And I'd been evaluating him for like a year. And then there was just a chunk of club tournaments where he took this huge step forward. And then it was clear as day that this is someone that we need in our gym. And I think we've been really lucky to have someone like Grayson who, having a national team middle in the city who only wants to go to U of A, that's quite a steal. Not a steal, but quite a privilege, maybe, to have that kind of talent wanting to come to us. Now, one of the funnest parts of my job is, coaching really good volleyball players, but what makes it quite special is coaching really good volleyball players that want to be a Bear. Part of my job is recruiting like as good a talent as I can. And sometimes you got to convince guys away from other schools. But when you have someone like Grayson, who's not only one of the top players in his position in the country, but is also just a huge fan of the program, that's someone that it's really awesome to have in your gym. And he plays like that. Like he plays like he loves to be a Bear, which is really special.
Cool stuff. Brock Davidic, Golden Bears volleyball head coach, with us on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. The Golden Bears are home to the Winnipeg Westmen tonight. It's an 8 o'clock start, but before that, the Winnipeg Westmen ladies squad takes on the Alberta Pandas at 6 o'clock, both at the Salvo Community Sports Center in quarterfinal action in U Sports play. We talked about a few of the rookies here, Brock. Maybe touch on some of the veterans that have, provided some leadership for some of these younger guys that have allowed them to flourish and to find their game stepping into the university ball here.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is, we have 4 captains, and 3 of them, their names are Jacob, Luke, and Merrick. The 3 of them live together in the same house, and that house has housed the majority of our captains since it has been established. There's an alumnus of ours who owns the house, and it's pretty much like a captain's house. Like, all our captains have just found their way to live there. They're a great group of guys. Our 4th captain is Matt Shand. Matt is our only graduating senior. And they really, I'd been recruiting them since they were quite young, and you could tell that they were pretty, not just special volleyball players, but they had very special character. Like, for instance, I hope Jacob doesn't reach on this story, but when I coached Jacob with the youth national team when he was like 16, and he after practice one day came to us, and he was like really had this look on his face like he was in a ton of trouble, and was really sullen, and was confessing that he was, just leaving the residence in a rush and happened to like break a part of a window on a door. And he came to us thinking we were about to kick him off the team. And I remember at the time, it was actually quite the opposite for a young, like 16-year-old coming up to these national team coaches to say, like, I made this mistake. I'm really sorry. Showed a lot of character. Mm-hmm. And we made sure he knew that at the time. Those kind of accidents happen, but that was like, I like telling that story because it's like, it's such a typical Jacob story. Like, he's our captain, and he's just the strongest of character. And not only does he have that within him, but he really spreads it throughout the team. And there's several guys that have that same personality and care about what we're doing. And that's created a very strong culture, which I think you need to have in order to be successful, but also for these guys to have a good time. Like, I want guys to have a really, not a good time, but like a really fulfilling experience. And having leaders like Jacob, who are steering our ship, I think creates a bunch of players that are ready to be mature men contributing to our culture.
Brock, maybe just a quick point on your thoughts. What will be keys for your side, your club, to be successful against Winnipeg tonight?
Yeah, I touched on it earlier, but there's 2 things that make us kind of, in the stats, one of the better teams in the country, and that's our attack and our serving. And that's what we're going to be really trying to showcase and be at the forefront. But all of that is going to be bolstered by our mental performance. We've done a lot of work with that with our mental performance coaches and giving guys cues and strategies on how to set the tone at the start of the match or deal with the team that's pushing back and deal with pressure. So I'd say those 3 things are going to be the features for us to hopefully be able to come out of this weekend successfully: attack, serve, and the mental game.
Brock, as always, thanks so much for your time. Good luck tonight, and hopefully just Friday, no Saturday game. So hopefully things can get taken care of here in the next couple of nights. Appreciate you coming on. Best of luck this weekend. Thanks a lot, as always.
And thanks, Kevin, for having me on. Thanks for your support. It's always a pleasure to be on.
You betcha. Brock Davidic, Golden Bears volleyball head coach. Once again, Bears take on Winnipeg Westmen tonight. The Pandas take the court with Winnipeg as well tonight, 6 o'clock. Salvo Community Sports Center. If necessary, they'll go all the way to Saturday, but it's 6 o'clock tomorrow again for the Pandas in match number 2. Bears, 8 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock tomorrow. If necessary, they'll go Saturday as well. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Hello.
You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. I'm heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day. Go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
It's Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the Center Bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. The deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Irrelevant Saskatchewan history. Kevin's got it. But first, catch the exclusive interviews and stories nobody else has. The Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 923 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick here on Sports 1440 AM radio. Hey, I got to bring in Fenny Fenwick here just because we had that in or out, Duke, about the Raptors. It would be, 20 points between the two games when you looked at OKC and then the Spurs. And the Raptors had opportunities to win both games here.
They sure did.
Really good opportunities.
Yeah. Yesterday they blew, I believe it was their 5th double-digit lead in the 4th quarter this season, which leads the NBA. That's really bad. Brandon Ingram did not start the fourth quarter, nor did Scotty Barnes. And when asked about it after the game, Darko said, well, Brandon Ingram played the entire third period, so, it doesn't really seem smart for him to start the fourth either. Pretty simple solution. Don't play him the entire third, or just say, hey, man, we're trying to win. We're going to start you in the fourth also. Yeah. Same with Scotty Barnes. And so
is that why you think, the personnel decisions by Darko to start the quarter? They had a 12-point lead.
Yeah, they had a 12-point lead, and you take your best defender off the floor and your best scorer off the floor. And the Raptors, simply put, aren't good enough without those two guys on the court to hold that lead, especially when you're going up against a freak of nature like Victor Wembanyama.
And he only had 12, right?
When guarded by, he had 21 to end the game. Okay. Yeah. But they were matching him and Colin Murray-Boyle's minutes. And so he just had him in hell. Colin Murray-Boyle's very good one-on-one defender.
Did Wemby, and correct me if I just read the stat wrong, I saw it in passing last night, Josh, Wemby started the game like 14 minutes without a field goal.
Yep.
0 for 4 from the field. So kind of just speaks to the fact that they did have him contained pretty well early in the contest, and as it progressed too. It's a good night overall, but compared to some of the numbers he's put up this year, it's pretty modest.
No, absolutely. And so my initial thought when seeing that was like, I think it was the 2013 or 14 finals when every time Kawhi checked in, LeBron was like, oh man, you got this guy again. So it's, they lost the 2 games by combined 12 points. So I'm still impressed enough, but when you see how close those games are,
you got to find a way. If you could just even get a split there.
Yeah, I would have really loved to see.
I think more so too, just for confidence. Like everyone knows. So now that's like, another loss to a top 10 team, top 6 team, whatever you want to call it, because there's 2 stats that are out there between the 2 of them. 3, they've won 4 games against the top 10 teams. 3 of those games have come against Cleveland.
Yep.
So, and Cleveland's a way better team than when the Raptors were playing them last.
Yeah, just like, was that Lewinberg or Grange that said that?
Yeah, they're way better now.
Yeah.
So, if they could have just got to split one of these games somehow.
Yeah, and so I think Darko needs to, when they're playing teams as good as these top 10 teams in the NBA, he needs to accept the fact that my best players have to play more for us to win these games.
Text 833-401-1440. Westside Dawn saying, good radio between you and Frank there. I'm 47 years old, been a sports hawk, media hawk for 40 years. Spirited debate was outstanding. Respect. And I just said, I think it was fair from both sides. And we've had a lot of texts here regarding, Frank was talking about a complete team. Some people are really agreeing with Frank, saying that the Americans had more of a complete team than Canada. I think both teams, to be honest with you, were complete teams. You don't get to where they are at that stage and play, 60 minutes of one-on-one hockey. But Canada was the better team in the gold medal game, and that's not even debatable. Frank brought up the Faber post crossbar double doink. Yes, that's one chance, but I think people, if you were to say that Canada would capital on the chances that they had with the 2 open nets, Canada was the better team in the gold medal game. 833-401-1440. Dale says, I wanted to weigh in on the Kachuk's taunting KK and Duke. And then he wanted to ask about Gretzky and Messier with no Olympic gold. No, yeah, he's, I think you're trying to compare the 2 here, Dale, and it's not even close to comparing because of how the Olympics have been in the sense back in 98, and you can talk about all the Stanley Cups and things like that. The taunting, I said I was probably that post that was out there. That's what set me off the other day about Matthew Tkachuk. And as I was saying, I'm looking forward to the game on the 19th of March. Who knows, by then, maybe neither team will be in the playoff picture. Right now, Florida is way behind. The Oilers are just hanging on. Hey, and this is a really good point, too. Haven't heard much about the McAvoy save. That also would have won the game, and that was on Tom Wilson. It was a shot that went off the pad of Connor Hellebuck, and then yeah, Charlie McAvoy was right there. So if you tack on the 2 open nets, the 2 breakaways, Celebrini, McDavid, Celebrini had other glorious chances. There's no way anyone that has any ilk in hockey cannot say that Canada was the better team in that gold medal game, because they were. It wasn't that ice between scoring chances and everything else, pardon me, Canada by far the better team. And by rights, it should have never even got to overtime. Having said that, you got to capitalize on your opportunities. And this game will forever go down as Canada not converting their opportunities, not taking advantage of their opportunities. Kenneth, oh boy, the boxer Kenny. Meldrick Taylor was the better fighter of the whole fight into the final seconds versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Chavez KO'd him. Wins and losses matter. Taylor lost. Anything else, Duke? I mean, I know you're typing like a madman over there, but we had so many texts that it's hard to keep track, and a lot of Oiler text still too. I mean,
It's as to be expected, and I think, like, if you're trying to gauge the text on this morning, which it's been very, very busy. It kind of it falls into a lot of counts. Obviously, disappointment in the Oilers. There's been plenty of that, and this battle, which it seems like we've been waging for several years consecutive now, with different goalies and different even defensemen at times, about the Oilers' struggles, and is it a goaltending problem? Is it a defensive problem? Well, I like, let's just call a spade a spade. It's both, right? And it's a combination of, the Oilers defensively have lapses that give up premier scoring chances or easy goals that the tender has no chance on. And then at the same time, last night being a good example of it, where the goaltender allows goals off of not premier chances that you say, hey, it's not a shot from 200 feet away a la Mike Smith, but it's still a shot that you want stopped at this level on a team of this caliber, right? And that's the frustrating part at times. And on a night you put up 5 and have a couple different 2-goal leads plus a 1-goal lead, it's frustrating for the fan base to watch and see, forget 2 points, a single point slip away in that game in what is a very important 3-game road trip against 3 teams that are chasing you in the division, in the standings.
No question, Duke, especially when you're $1.15 away. You have to be thinking on the road, we got to get a point here minimum. That's does the team have a different approach or different style if that's the second half of a back-to-back on a road trip and you're at that point tied late in the game and you say, hey, we've played a pretty good game. It hasn't been pretty loose, sloppy, all those things considered, but let's salvage at least our point out of this and see how we fare in overtime, where we know we more often than not have the advantage. Now, in the Ducks case, they've actually been the best team in extra time this year, 6-3 in OT, undefeated in a shootout if it gets to that point. But still, it's just that it's disappointing. The Kings are a team that is without a top 6 player, but offensive challenges have plagued this team a lot. But then you see them put up 4 against Vegas last night. Granted, a very shorthanded Vegas team, and still lose the game. So it really feels like that's one that slipped away from you last night in the big scheme of the standings and point totals. Ontario Mom's texting. I don't know if they should be spending assets at the deadline. There's something missing with the team. They need a big shakeup. I'd be saving first rounders and second rounders. And I'll tell you what, we've had more people talk about Darnell Nurse today. I'd say more than we've ever had.
In the last couple, because since we've launched, Kevin, it does seem that a lot of that negative attention and focus has shifted to guys like Stuart Skinner, Evan Bouchard at times, of course, and then this year, Frederic Mangiapane, take your pick. But it does seem like the brigade for criticism is back in full flight that we've seen in the past with the Oilers. So
again, the assets that everyone's talking about, well, you wouldn't give up assets at the trade deadline. The assets that the Oilers have are few and far between. On the farm, there's not much there. They don't have a first round pick this year. They don't have a 4th round pick this year. They don't have a 5th round pick this year. They have first and second rounders in 27, 28. Those are obviously in play.
And it almost begs the question, if you're talking about strategy and these people that are ready to wave the white flag on the season after what's technically a 4 straight loss, going back to pre-Olympic break, is, well, you've already spent so many assets in years past to go all in. You don't really have anything to show for it. Yes, appearances in the Stanley Cup Finals, but no banners, no rings. Is this the right time to to cut bait and retreat when your cupboards are still pretty bare regardless.
When we come back, Ladislav Schmid has entered into the building. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior Hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
And welcome back to the big program. 9:37 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, even Twitch. And it's Thursday. Time to welcome in our co-host, Ladislav Schmid, to the big program. Good morning, Laddie.
Good morning.
How are you doing on this fine Thursday?
I'm pretty good.
Did you go to the gym this morning?
Yes, I did.
What time?
I had to calm down.
You were up late last night, though.
6:15. Yeah, because I had my son had practice till
must have been
till
late
like 9.
Late practice
Till
too,
like
then.
9. Yeah, yeah. I got home, got a bunch of text messages about the great interview Mark Spector and Connor McDavid had, so it pissed me off and couldn't sleep.
You texted me. We talked a little bit about it.
Yes.
You want to start there? Is that what you don't? So you, and again, I think it's getting way more play, and it's way bigger than I think a lot. Like it's blown out of proportion. I think.
Well, I get your Mark Spector's colleague, so you're gonna play it down. Me as a former player, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I watched the whole thing.
Okay.
So you said watch the whole thing. It doesn't make it any better.
So
okay, it's
tell me what. So how are you?
This question is just for the clicks. He knew this. If Mark would do this for a first time, I would be like, okay, I would cut him some slack.
Okay.
He does it all the time. This is not the first time. He's what, for 20 years or plus. He's made, and I get it. Sometimes you have to ask tough questions. This wasn't a tough question. This was a gutless question. I don't care if he meant to word it different. This is how it came out. It's not fair to the player. You can ask that question a million different ways. He chose to ask it this way, which I absolutely I lost a lot of respect after that interview for him, because I don't think how he can make any excuses for this.
So,
he didn't word it, hey, kind of feeling bad for him. No. This and this, like, it's hard. Like goals are catching the other players except for you, basically. So, like, how can you make any excuses? And it went viral. If Mark would be stupid, which is not, I know he's a very intelligent guy. I would be like, okay, but he's a very intelligent guy. He knew this is gonna go viral. You're asking the player who just came back. He lost back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. He lost Olympics. He carries every single team. He carried every single team he's ever been on. He's carried this whole city for I don't know how many years. It's not happening. And then you ask him this question. Like, what do you expect? If I'm Connor McDavid, well, a lot of respect for him, how he handled it. And he didn't lose his shit.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how you run people out of town, in my opinion. As a former player, like, I was disgusted just watching it.
So even when you listen to everything,
yes,
and I mean the reason that it gained legs, as you say, clicks gained legs, is because how it was put out, laddie.
Yeah, but I watched the whole thing, and
okay, so you watched the beginning of Spec's question.
I still disagree. It doesn't matter if you watch the whole thing or just that thing. That thing has been said. There is other ways to ask that question, and I think, and I would probably even maybe wait couple days, but whatever, he's entitled to that. There's different ways how to ask the question, and I get.
So how would you have asked the question then?
I wouldn't personally.
Okay.
I
So
wouldn't.
you
I would just say, you know, I would in the sense of I feel bad. You know, it didn't happen. You had a great tournament.
So,
spin it that way, but it didn't go your way.
But again,
why mention that you lost back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals?
Laddie, as I said to you last night, that this has been discussed all across
I
Canada.
don't care.
Well,
So why do I care? As I'm my own person, why do I care what TSN is saying? They're not going to McDavid and asking the question that Mark Spector said.
Well, that's because Spector's the only reporter there, laddie.
He was the only reporter?
Yes.
Oh, well,
there are no other reporters. There's no reporters that cover the team on the road.
Okay,
and I'll tell you, just wait, let me finish here.
Fine.
Like, okay, Spec is on the road with the team. This is going to, and a lot, the only other way that I thought about this, on a game day, sometimes as a reporter, you ask certain questions.
And on a game day.
And then you stay away from. Okay. That's the way it goes. Game day, you talk about the game, and that's the way it is. Normally, this wouldn't have been broached. Okay. But this is the first time that anyone's talked to Connor. That's one. The second thing is
they didn't talk to him about after Olympics, any of the media?
No. Well,
yes, he was interviewed.
In Italy.
It doesn't matter. He was interviewed.
He was never asked that question.
Exactly.
Well, but laddie, you're still missing
why
the point.
you I'm not missing the point. Why, like, see, we gonna disagree because you're straight media and I'm straight hockey player.
Whoa.
Well, no,
I'm
like,
seeing
because
both sides here.
I don't see both sides at all.
Okay, well,
there's a way you can ask that question. This wasn't the way. And sure, okay, if he was the only media, you don't. It's like eager to ask that questions. You know that question was poorly worded.
What did I
It,
type?
it's
What did I
it's a,
type
it's
to
a
you
gutless, heartless question.
What did I type to you last night, laddie?
That well,
Remember
I see your point,
Did you
but
see
like,
how I would have like?
yeah,
and I said-
you're like a politician.
no.
Yeah, you're like a politician. Like I'm just gonna say how I feel. I don't have to play both sides. I disagree.
No,
I lost a lot of respect after the question was
Do
asked.
you remember? Okay, last night.
Well,
when
I have it.
What I no. Okay, read out what I. How
Well, I
my
don't have to
question-
read it. Well, I don't even remember.
How my question, how I would have said my.
Yeah,
Question.
well, yeah, I know, but exactly. But that's a water under the bridge. You would have worded it differently, and I would respect that. He didn't. Sorry. Case closed. Like he can. Like I screwed up many times before, but but I wouldn't defend my decision. I would just say yes, I screwed up. This is not like it was poorly worded. It was gutless. It was like he's a human being too. He puts more pressure on himself than anybody else. He wants to win so bad. And you ask these questions like a few days after he lost biggest game of his life. Like, come on. Come on.
So then, is it okay then for all of the media outlets?
Oh, like
just wait.
no.
Let me say. Whoa!
Yeah,
I'm giving you the
yeah,
floor here quite a
yeah.
bit. So, is it okay for guys on TSN to have a panel and talk about the exact same thing here, and do it for 10 minutes? 2 panels, one on the radio show.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Did they
everything that we've discussed here, or everything that goes to the basis of that question?
So what was there what they discussed? Was it worded like that?
Yes,
Like
even probably more so, more defamatory, way more defamatory.
like what? Give me an example.
Connor doesn't have the capability.
It's about like he's not a big game player. He doesn't have the winning gene or the clutch gene. Like those are the things that is the
So
the
like I
national
cannot
narrative.
swear. So I cannot swear. So they're in the same boat with Spectre then for me.
Those guys
exactly
okay.
on the panel, exactly in the same boat.
Now the other
But,
thing,
but like, was it any former players?
yes.
Well, that's even sadder.
Well,
How is Neil big time? Like who's got more points per game in the playoffs?
Listen, Laddie,
No, like I know, but I'm just telling you. So like for me, I'm glad you said it. I lost respect for them as well. They're doing this just for viewers and for clicks. They don't care about the player, which I get. You're entitled to that. You're in media. Fortunately, I'm a human being, and I can rely to Connor McDavid. I feel bad for him. For me, he carries every single team he's ever on. He set the Olympic record. Yeah, he had the 0 points in the final game. The game, every time he stepped on the ice, you could see the difference. They should have won the game. They didn't. They missed some chances, but it's a team sport. Like, we are not talking about Connor McDavid sport. We are talking about team sport. It doesn't take one player to win the medal. It doesn't take one. Yeah, I know. And I'm not giving you shit. I'm just saying those guys, they should know better. They don't, obviously. Feel bad for them. But then Spec, who is with the team almost every day, asked that question. That's pissing me off because I know he knows better. I think he's a smart guy, but this really pissed me off.
So, Laddie, just and I'm sorry to cut in here. My question to this would be, what did Spec ask or say that was defamatory? He stated facts and then said, "Did you think it would be this hard?"
Yeah.
What's wrong with that question? He never said, Do you worry about not being a big game player? Like what we just
no, he didn't say that.
He never said those things.
But you don't have to say it. But saying it,
did you read his article today too?
No, I don't. Guys, you're. But I don't care about the article. Well, like that's like a day later because maybe he felt bad. I just
15 minutes about this. Yeah. Well, yeah. His article was yesterday, but
yeah, like that's fine. I am solely talking about the question about the whole interview. I think it was ridiculous for me. Sorry, guys. Let's agree to disagree because you're.
I'm not disagreeing.
Well, he's defending it basically.
Listen, there's points to everything. When you go in and interview players, sometimes it can't be pleasant.
Oh, like I'm not saying it didn't have to be pleasant, but it doesn't have to be. For me, it struck me pretty disrespectful, and like kind of like putting salt on the wound. You can see in Connor's, like, he kept it professional in his face when that question was asked. Like, okay.
So are you aware that Connor's pissed off at Spec for?
No, I don't know what he feels like.
So,
That's not the first time that
okay.
Spec asked question that guys are pissed off, Leon or him. Like, they're probably used to it. But I just thought it should have been worded much better with way more respect.
This Fritz guy keeps texting in, and I've about had it with you, Fritz. If you want to come down here, come down to the mall anytime, and we can have a conversation, man to man, face to face. Fritz, I can guarantee you it won't be a pleasant conversation face to face, but you're more than welcome to come down to the mall anytime.
You're gonna have an altercation here, guys. Let's just move on.
Every listener's on board with you here, laddie. I just want to say,
I guys, like, don't get me wrong. I respect the media. Like, I respect it, but there is a way you can go about it, and not just the way it was asked. It is just, I don't even want to say unfortunate.
I'm going to throw this one.
Hold on a second. It's not even unfortunate because this is not the first time that he's asked a question like that. Sorry.
I'll throw this one at you too, laddie, and it's different, and people are going to be all over me for this now. I can guarantee it. When you are a writer, and Spec is a writer, okay, the questions that are asked are different than when you are an electronic media guy. I'll go to war on that statement forever. It's different when you are with a camera and you are a TV guy and you're asking a question. It's way different. The scribes now that are doing dual work for, like, let's say Spec and all these other guys that are on video now too, because that's what they are. It's different than how it was before. And usually what would have happened is you would go on a one-on-one with a guy, or you'd grab him for a couple of minutes and you'd say something like that. And this would never, ever be out there. And there would be no problem between the two. As Spec said, Connor has no problem. Like, he didn't say that was BS Spec when they left the scrum. There was nothing egregious in that.
No, he just said nice questions. So that basically
and
tell
then
you
answered,
F you.
And he answered the question.
Yeah,
after,
he did.
And then he answered a follow-up.
Yeah. Like, honestly, if you're a normal human being and you have a common sense, when somebody says, oh, nice question, what did it tell you, that it was a nice question, or is basically F you? Like, I would go with the second one because I've been in those shoes. Obviously, I'm not Connor McDavid, but I've been asked some stupid, disrespectful questions.
Yep.
And this instead of telling him what I think, really, from bottom of my heart, like, I would say something like, yeah, nice question. But yeah, I would just move on. I have my opinion on it. Should have been worded much better. That's all. With way more respect. Like, I will read the article. It's gonna probably be much better. Like you said, like, article is different than when you're asking live. Still, came out very wrong. I feel bad for Connor. Seriously, like, we have a history of media poorly handling certain players and running them out of town.
If I were Connor, I'd be more pissed off of all the crap that was on
TSN.
TSN.
I agree, but like, exactly. But that's a national TV. Spec is covering Oilers, so you would expect there would be a little bit more respect from your own guy. I would expect that, but you seeing that on TSN, then you come home basically to your home-based media. And this is what you get. Same thing. Yes. Sorry. Okay, we can move on.
We could move on. Sure. You watch the game last night all the way to the end?
I didn't. I stopped watching when it was 4-2. And what an unpleasant morning when I turn on the Sportsnet and I watch some of the highlights. I'm gonna have to watch the third period, but yeah, 4-1 third period. I saw some of the goals. Boys, we are like, I'm the last person who would want to panic. But I said at the beginning of the season, unfortunately, I don't have the same feeling like I had previous 2 years about the team. And now it's like proven my point. And again, I don't want to panic. I think there's still time to get things going, but we go back to the goaltending and it starts there. Then we can add the defensive play. Offense, I will never worry. I'm going to knock on something. I will never worry. But they have to fix the defense and the goaltending. And it starts with goaltending. Because if you don't believe in your goaltending, then you play with the handcuffs. And worrying, it's going to create even more screw-ups on the ice. You know how it is. When you don't play with confidence, you know you cannot screw up because there's nobody bailing you out. And maybe I'm too harsh on our goaltenders right now.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so.
But yesterday it proved it. You cannot play like that. Then likely you're gonna make more and more mistakes. They don't have the confidence to stop the puck right now. It's just vicious cycle, man. Like it's.
We've had probably more texts again regarding Darnell Nurse today than I can recall for a long, long time.
I know.
Now, and a lot of them, and I'm going to ask you this. A lot of them say, what would be wrong with Darnell Nurse watching a game from the press box?
Nothing.
So,
honestly, man, nothing. I usually stand up for him, right? Like, I feel bad, but he didn't have a great game yesterday. I feel like you're gonna have to start sending messages. I think we talked about it, Duke, right? The message to Jarry yesterday was you're pulling him midway through the third period. The game, like, it's a message for me. And rightfully so. Like, it's not like we are still in a playoff position. So you're not struggling. Now is the time to maybe send a few messages. Like, this is unacceptable the way you play. It's not like you need every single point. Now is the time. If you're not doing your job, put you in the press box. Man, that's how it was. That's how it was back in the day. And nobody asked questions. Like, Mekti wouldn't ask media or players. No, you're in the press box. Go think about it. Go look at it. And he would tell you. He wouldn't be disrespectful. He's like, maybe it's a good time for you to watch it from the press box and see what you don't see on the ice.
Well, how about even just in game more? Like, watch. Okay, sorry, you're going to take a few shifts off here.
I'm okay, man. I'm okay with that. Like, that's. I can't even talk about it. We do it to my kids. U13. And I know there is people who are gonna say you cannot do this to kids. But if you're not doing it to the kids, like, what are you building in them? So they build the bad habits. They think it's okay. You don't build any resiliency in them. And there's a right way to do it. There's a bad way to do it. Yelling at them and it's like, hey, you're sitting because you suck. No, it's like, hey, you're gonna take a couple of shifts off. This and this you're not doing right. And it's not like one off. If you're doing the same thing over and over and you're not getting the message, then it's the time maybe miss a shift. With the pro league, I would just bench them for the rest of the period. You have 2-3 bad turnovers or miss your assignment, and this is like reoccurring thing. Hey, you're going to sit for 10-15 minutes, or next game, or finish the game, you're going to sit in the press box. I'm totally okay with that.
We're going to have Jim Fox here, I think, at the top of the hour. So we'll get to some other topics regarding what happened last night and moving forward and I guess where the team is. And again, we've talked about it a lot this morning. It's in a precarious playoff position because Anaheim's passed them now, and on point percentage, the Oilers are actually technically below the cut line. So lots to discuss here. When we come back, the Oilers are in LA tonight, so it's a back-to-back with Jim Fox. We'll LA Kings analyst will guest with us right after the break. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Riverside Honda. 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas. Premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day of the Edmonton Oilers finishing off a back-to-back in SoCal tonight against the Kings. Puck drop coming just after 8:30 Mountain Time. Busy night around the rest of the league. 11 games total, including the Habs hosting the Islanders. Red Wings are in our nation's capital, taking on the Sens. Maple Leafs play the Panthers from Florida. Lightning up against the Hurricanes. Rangers welcome the Flyers into MSG. Wild take on the Avalanche, and the Flames are in California as well, playing the the Sharks. In the AJ tonight, just outside of the city, Camrose Kodiak's taking on the Drum Heller Dragons for a 7 o'clock puck drop. And in the association, another busy night on the hard court as well. San Antonio's in Brooklyn, Chicago hosting Portland, Lakers up against Phoenix, and the Clippers host Minnesota in the nightcap. First big news from Combine Week in the NFL. New York Jets trading former first-round pass rusher Jermaine Johnson to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for defensive tackle Devondre Sweat. And in case you missed it, late last night, Max Scherzer reportedly heading back to the Blue Jays for a second season with Toronto. This will be Scherzer's 19th season in the big leagues. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by LA Kings analyst Jim Fox, and we'll check in with a new edition of In or Out. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
There's a lot of great seasons in Alberta. Hockey season, harvest season, the winter season, and the even more winter season. But GS Construction is already preparing for our next great season, because while the city slows down, we plan ahead. Projects, people, and pipelines. Everything starts taking shape for another strong year underground. We're also getting ready for our next hiring season in March. We want new people who want to build something that lasts. For more on us and to apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. And they're now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
For almost half a century, families, farmers, and mechanics across Alberta have trusted Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Why? Because we know cars and we know value. Hi, Lisa here. And whether it's keeping your work truck hauling or getting your teenager's first car back on the road, Ed's has the parts you need at prices you can afford. Reliable, affordable, local. That's Ed's Auto Salvage. With province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton, visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:01 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick, and Ladislav Schmid with you here on a Thursday morning. And time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. A great selection. You've got so many colors to pick from. $49.9 gets you behind the wheel. Brand new Jeep Gladiators below $50K. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com. As we welcome back Jim Fox, LA Kings analyst, to the show. Morning, Foxy. We're with Kevin Karius and Ladislav Schmid, the former NHLer. Thanks, as always, for jumping on Sports 1440. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Hey, how was that game last night in your viewpoint, where the Kings just lost to the Vegas Golden Knights 6-4?
Yeah, I think, you continually learn lessons, and you have to learn that when the other team is a little shorthanded, they're probably going to be more conservative. They're going to be really tight checking, and that's exactly what happened. That's what the Kings are known for, but that has been slipping, so it caught them. And right now, it's too tight for the Kings to drop many more of those types of situations where you do have a little bit of an advantage because of the other team's roster. being depleted for various reasons, and unfortunately could not take advantage of it.
Laddie, I know you were busy watching some other games last night, but I mean, the Kings, and we were talking about the standings here with Laddie, how close things are, as you know, Foxy. I mean, a regulation win for the Kings here with those games in hand. And man, things are really, really interesting.
It's pretty tight. You don't usually see LA giving up 6 goals.
Yeah,
so
that's the other one.
kind of shocking. What was the case? Like poor defense or just careless plays? Or like, I'm sorry, I didn't watch the game because I was busy, and then I watched the Oilers game. So what can you tell us about the game yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where maybe the mind is not back on track yet. Again, I don't think the Kings handled how well Vegas was prepared to check because of their circumstance. It was probably a different game than you would normally get against Vegas. So that's where, again, the Kings have to look internally. They have to, they're running out of time. And I know it's close right now. And, there's a lot of talk about, the Kings have the 3rd easiest schedule remaining, that type of stuff. Man, I hope that's not being thought about when you're looking at the standings. You just got to look at each game, take it as you come, and get on your game. And unfortunately, the Kings were not on their game last night.
Jim Fox with us on Sports 1440. Man, I can't imagine what the hockey club, even yourself being so close to it, watching the Olympics and see, Kevin Fiala going down, and, after the acquisition of Panarin, to see a big piece of the puzzle. Man, oh man, that must have just been real gut wrenching in LA to see that, Foxy.
You know what? It's devastating. And again, you got to go. You got to play the next game. You can't dwell on it. But I really think that the Kings and Ken Holland, they were prepared to even add more. They added Panarin. They need some offense. They need a power play back work in. Panarin fills that hole, and then you lose Fiala. So to be honest, I think right now, I think the Kings are kind of in a holding mode right now. I don't know if they can. Now you have another hole to fill. And, if you want to go ahead and add another centerman, say when you had Fiala and Panarin, then you're kind of, then you're back into the conversation. But I really think this one hurts. It hurts a lot. Because now it affects what you can do in the future. What, do you go for a rental to fill that hole? Then your prospects are, all of a sudden you're giving away young kids and young draft picks and things of that sort, which I think the Kings would have done if Fiala was healthy. If he had not gotten hurt, I think they were going to go for one more big piece, probably a centerman, and, give up a lot to get it, but put themselves back into the conversation. And right now, I don't know if they can do that.
So do you think Kenny Holland stands pat a little more, Foxy, here, or is it maybe just a complimentary piece moving forward?
Yeah, you know what?
It's a tough one.
It's really difficult. It hurts. It really does, because the plan was there. It was add that little bit more offense, get some more security in the center position. It puts everything up in the air right now. So for me to say what I think would happen, I think it could be a whole bunch of things, but I think, to be honest, I think going after another big fish, I think that's off the board right now. That's what I think.
Yeah. Assuming Darcy Kemper goes tonight, Foxy?
Yeah, back-to-back situation. Yeah, that'll be the case. And that's an area that has slipped a little bit too. And Darcy, made the Canadian Olympic team, obviously. I think he had a solid start to the season, and it's dropped off a little bit of late.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about the goals against, and, we get the analytics at the end of games, and it's, goals saved above expected, and the Kings are minus a lot of nights. And that's not a good place to be. So, that'll be the case with Darcy getting back. And that, if anything would turn around the season, I think, for the Kings, is just to get Darcy back to, a normal position, a position where he's not, he doesn't have to be the Vezina Trophy candidate that he was last year, but that position has slipped a little bit.
Do you think it's related to the team defense, or is it just solely on Darcy Kemper?
Yeah, you know what, Laddie, I try to, break down goals against and put them in categories. And, if it's well defended and the puck still goes in, then you're concerned. And I think that has happened a little bit too much.
Okay.
You know, the bad angle shot, you know, you've got enough men back, everything's, you put the guy through, you know, you're going to allow shots, right?
Yeah.
And then on the penalty kill, that's another area that slipped. And of course, we have the saying, right? Your best penalty killer has to be your goaltender.
Yes.
And it kind of hand in hand, it's kind of slid a little bit. So that's, you know, just fine tuning is what is needed. It's not like a big change needs to happen, but if you're going to play tight defense and then there's also a breakdown in the goal, then, you know, you're not scoring a lot. You can't outscore your mistakes. And I think that's where the Kings have found themselves. They tried to, you know, they tried to address that with the acquisition of Panarin, but again, I'm going to cry again and I'm going to just go, you know, Fiala's gone and it hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's devastating. I felt so bad, man. Watch like
like
you're like preparing basically your whole life now, right? Like it's been so many years, the Olympics without the NHL players. Finally you arrive and this happens to you. You know, and then you hear Doughty talking in the media how worried he was about his teammate and they're on the different teams and just really sad. Like I honestly I enjoy watching Kevin Fiala because when he's on, he is a brilliant player, great offensive guy. You know, he gives you a lot of different things. He can score goals, he can make plays. Like I'm a big fan of his. So like watching him on the ice and then hearing the news about what kind of injury he got, very devastating for you guys. I feel sorry.
It's a concern because, you know, it's because of the type of break and the femur and things of that sort. That's something to be concerned about going forward. I agree. Last year in the playoffs, you know, I know the Kings lost the series against Edmonton again, but I thought Kevin was great.
Yeah,
he's very competitive. You know, he's a smaller type of guy, but he's fast, he's quick, he makes it happen. But you don't have to protect him because he's in there. Yeah. He's in the middle of things. He's stirring it up. He's getting it going. So, and I think he's become less risky over the last couple of years, which, you know, was probably a big concern for him with all the offense he provided. He was a little bit risky, turnovers at the wrong place, those types of things. But I think he really corrected that a little bit. And, you know, unfortunately, the rest of the season, they're going to have to find something there, obviously. And if there is an area, and I don't know if the personnel fits, but, you know, the Kings defense, the defensive core, they've started to get more involved in the offense. And maybe that's why some of the defensive numbers have slipped a little bit, but they need that though. They need, and I'm not saying they're fit. Brandt Clark might be the only guy considered an offensive defenseman on the Kings right now. But they still need, you know, when you're defending, right? If it's a 3-on-3, but if it's a 4-on-3, if it's a guy coming late, if just adding that thing, change the read of the defenders. And I think the Kings are working on that. They've obviously got to execute a little bit better, but that's something that would again help. Just get that one extra goal every once in a while that you need because you have some activity from the defenseman.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask totally from kind of flip the page, but a little bit about the future. Obviously, everybody knows that Andrei Kopitar is going to be retiring after this season. Those are huge shoes to fill. I don't even know if you can fill it. If there is guys who are ready to step in those shoes. A couple of years after that, you know, you cannot stop age. Drew Doughty is going to be in the same boat. What do you think LA is going to do? Like, do they have players in their system right now who could replace those guys? Because for me, Anže and Drew are almost generational talents. Like, I'm a huge fan of both, play against both, have tons of respect on and off the ice. They're huge leaders in the locker room, big leaders, like huge leaders on the ice, you know, obviously. So what do you think LA's going to do, or do they go through the trades, or, you know, full on rebuild? I don't know. Like, can you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, I think the Fiala injury kind of goes into it again. Yeah. That's why for the rest of this year, I don't know if they can go for it. I hate to say it that way, but it just puts them in a position where you're in between now. But yeah, they know about Kopitar. No, there is no one. They will have to go out and get them, get that person that would fit the center position.
Austin
they don't have
Matthews?
anyone in the minors. Well, that's everything's on the book. Connor McDavid. Let's do. I mean, whoever's going to be. The one thing that I think we're finding though, in the last couple of years, is there's not as many free agents available because they're ending up signing with their teams, and it looks great when you look through the list of who's possible, but then very few of them have gone to free agency. So that's where it hurts. But I think that's the area they have to go to. I think a trade, you're going to just, again, open up another hole to fill another one. So I think, with Kopitar's numbers coming off the salary cap, I think that, they're in a good position, the Kings are, to add as much as they want if that player is available. But, if you did go to a guy like Austin Matthews, then I think you're looking at a trade. But I think the first place they're going to look is into free agency.
Okay. What about Drew Doughty? Do you think anybody can replace him on a current roster, or within the, or is there a player in like an organization right now that you drafted? Probably not. Same thing.
No, not at that thing. I would, and Drew's numbers, rightly so, have gone down as far as offense, and that's expected. And I think his focus is in a different place than it was, 10 years ago. But he logs so many hard minutes, and that's the thing. It's the hard minutes, the matchups against the other team's top line, those types of things that Drew just constantly gets it. He loves it. He loves that challenge now. Again, he's changed his mindset. He doesn't concern himself with offense as much anymore. But I don't see anyone on the horizon that would come into that position. They do have some younger players, a couple of first-round picks over the last couple of years. Got two defensemen playing in London. Pretty highly touted, but to jump in and eat those minutes up, I don't think the Kings have that right now.
Okay. Jim Fox, LA Kings analyst with us. Kevin Karius, Ladislav Schmid with you. Well, Foxy, you're easily the best guy to ask this question to. And you're 11th all-time. Jim Fox is 11th all-time in LA Kings scoring. Laddie brought up Anze Kopitar. He's got 1,301 points, 6 back of Marcel Dion for the all-time lead. I would think, if he can stay healthy here, Foxy, I think he's going to pass Marcel here down the stretch. You've seen all the greats. You played with the greats in Dave Taylor and Marcel and Charlie Simmer and all, Wayne Gretzky and all, Dave Taylor, all these guys. In your view, is Anze Kopitar, the because of the cups and everything else, is he the best LA King of all time, Foxy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was quick.
No hesitation. Yeah, no hesitation awesome. At all. The cups are there for sure. That puts it over the top. He's only played for the Kings. So in that boat, you have, Dave Taylor. That's about it as far as longevity. Now Drew Doughty fits into that, right?
Yeah.
But I think when it all is said and done, when you look at the offense that he's been able to produce, along with a solid 200-foot game, shutting things down, and you know what, guys, he's big too.
Oh.
He's a horse out there.
Yeah.
He's hard. Takes it into the corners, holds on possession, those types of things. But overall, as a King, and Wayne Gretzky, he played, but Gretz is an Oiler, right?
Yeah,
That's the way we look at it. I think he actually had more points with the Kings than he did with the Oilers. But that's, with Anze, it's one team, 20 years, 2 Stanley Cups, and the one thing that when you talk to other teams' coaches, that's when they really talk about Kopitar.
Yep.
I mean, they've coached against him. They've understood the matchups. They've understood trying to get away from the matchup of Kopitar against whoever he's trying to shut down. So that's where the respect really flows. And I put him right at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the top. There's I have more sentiment for a Dave Taylor because he was a teammate and again only a King. Those types of things, even Dustin Brown when he came along, captain of the 2 cup teams, all those. But no, Kopitar right at the top.
Oh, that's cool stuff.
I love it. I know Anze a little bit. I got to talk to him several times. He is so down to earth, and that makes it even better. That he was such a superstar. He's such a superstar. Like I said, like for 2 decades, one of the best 2-way players. I would put him like probably top 5 that I know. all time, to like two-way players. And when you talk to him, you would never think that he's that kind of superstar, which is great trait.
Yeah, the best thing with Kopi is, and I think when you take video and clips and put them together and try to help a young centerman or a young player, I mean, Kopi, you just play his games back.
Yeah.
And you show those clips because you can learn so much. The way he goes around the ice and shows up at the proper place at the right time, and that's where, just those subtle things that probably take years of experience to figure out. You just take a look at one clip of Kopitar shift and you get just about everything.
Game 1500 coming up for him, Foxy. Where would the Kings be if they're going to do something here for that?
Yeah, there's going to be, you know what? I think it'll probably be next year, that type of stuff to really let the season unwind and go and do it. And then, you have the banner and all that type of stuff. I don't think there's any question number 11 is going up into the rafters.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because all the ceremonies, like he's had so many of them.
Yeah, I know.
It's not stop, laddie. So, yeah.
Well deserved, though.
Yeah. Hey, Foxy, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight and the stretch run for the Pacific Division. It's going to be pretty wild down the stretch. Thanks as always for coming on.
Right.
Thank you.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Jimmy Fox, LA Kings analyst, long time. I mean, he got to the Kings organization, laddie, in the late 70s, early 80s.
Wow.
Early 80s, 1980 he got
Yeah,
there.
that place sucks, to live in for that long.
Well, and Foxy, I mean, he's you've seen him. You would have seen him easily when you were playing. I mean, he started covering his team, not like being the analyst.
Yeah.
So he's been, since he retired, he played 10 years, had 578 games, and then he was 479 points.
Jeez.
I mean, he had
almost point a game.
Well, he was 30 goals, 28, 30, 30. So pretty open hockey back then.
For him,
but he got, like you say, he got to play with Gretz, got to play with Simmer, Dion.
Yeah, that's some
Dave
great.
I'll tell you
grades there.
Well, if
That's
you ever
awesome.
want to do a little research on a guy named Charlie Simmer, that's a cool guy. If you look at him back playing in LA in the 80s, you think there's a guy that had some fun.
I know what you mean.
Oh, yes.
80s LA? Wow.
I got to play with him too.
Where?
In the Alzheimer's tournament.
Oh, he was
He
here?
came up for it, and he was with us for the 3 days.
And?
Well,
Wild?
Well, this is the stories. The guys would just sit there in the room, and like some guys are really better at telling stories than others.
And he's awesome.
Oh, well, like even if every story he told there was only 1% truth to it,
It was crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
Oh man, yeah,
I love those
he
guys.
was something else.
Well, right before the social media and all that stuff, thank God.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't have. So when we come back, we'll go in or out with Laddie Schmid, Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with the 5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy. All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too. For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 1024 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick, Ladislav Schmid with you here on a Thursday morning in time. Now for Are You In or Out?
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or are you out? In or out of what? No time for questions, just action. In or out? Well, then I'm out. I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke, letterbox.
The Edmonton Oilers losing last night in their return to action, 6-5 at the hands of the Anaheim Ducks, opening up their post-Olympic schedule. The newly manufactured second line of Leon Draisaitl, Matt Savoy, and Jacques Rastlovic was the standout bright spot in the team's loss.
It's pretty hard to argue. I mean, Savoy was the best guy on the ice. Rastlovic scores right off the hop. You know, it's funny. You get 5 goals. Leon never had a point.
Which is kind of maybe the only reason I thought there might be some pushback on this, but
no, I agree.
I could go with Connor playing 22 minutes penalty killing. You know, they had 5 penalty kills.
I thought they would ease him into it after the Olympics.
I thought so too, but played 22. And I mean, they're just, you know, like Janmark was hurt like 2.5, and they had to kind of mix things up a little bit. Frederick was noticeable, set up Podkolzin, and Podkolzin was
I thought
noticeable.
Podkolzin was very good. Obviously, it's kind of the same story with him where it's you just got to start to finish a few more of these really good chances and looks you get. And you saw Podkolzin taking spins on the fourth line in place of Janmark at times too, where I thought the newly configured lines kind of across the board, obviously the top line remaining intact. I liked the look of a lot of them, but it just kind of boiled down to mistakes and bad goals by the goaltender and defensive mistakes that kind of led to them losing the hockey game. But I did think, despite the sloppiness, first game back, there were quite a few positives to pull out of the game last night on aggregate.
And the one other thing I'll mention just before Laddie clicks into here in his comment, I love that play. You know, Emberson took a penalty for it. It probably wasn't a penalty. Saved the goal. They killed it off. And I thought Emberson was really good last night. So I thought
they had a lot of rest.
Yeah.
A lot of rest.
So
it's always tricky to come back after such a long time, right? Like nothing can substitute the games. But yeah, there was a lot of positives. Yeah, I agree with you. The second line was going, was clicking. So yeah, I go with that. I agree with you, Duke.
Wow, we're off to a good start today, laddie. We'll see if it.
It's
if
gonna
it
go
can,
downhill.
We'll see if it can last. One of the issues for the team last night was the goaltending. Tristan Jarry was pulled from the game after he gave up 5 goals on 25 shots. This came, however, and the game was tied in the middle of the third period. While the move was warranted, deserving of getting yanked from the cage for sure, it did not put the team in the best position to win the hockey game.
I'm okay with this decision. I don't even know if I should say in and out. I'm gonna just say my piece. I like the message. Like we talked about it, right? Like it is a message for the goaltender. Like I said, they're not in such a jam that they have to be worrying so much about every point. But it might get there if you don't address these issues. So for me, it was the right move. Pulling him out, and like I know, not a great time of the game. Oh well, he wasn't saving goals before. So and that goal, the 6th goal, that there was nothing that goalie could have done anything. Like you leave wide.
Connor Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram could have done anything because the guy's wide open. Nobody even knows about the player.
It starts with the nurse bobble, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, but
that happens all the time.
It happens, but then you have to sort it out, and like none of them had any idea there's a guy behind them, which is crazy. Like there was not.
If Darnell just hangs with Leo Carlson for a little bit more instead of going to the slot, and there was a little bit of a collision there.
Yeah,
he's off balance for a split second. But if he hangs with Carlson, that goal doesn't happen.
Yeah. So,
and then Wallman standing statuesque, and again,
I was gonna say Ballman. Like he had no idea. He was like puck watching, then he doesn't know, then he's too late to come into that guy.
Man, I'm just so disappointed in Wallman. Like even right off the hop, the Oilers made it 1-0. Wallman's got the puck behind the net and comes out, gets chased around. And I got no problem with the guy going behind the net again.
I don't care.
Comes out again and then passes it up Connor's ass. And next thing you know, penalty, and the Oilers are on the PK unit.
Yeah, I'm in step with you on this, laddie, that it was a message to anything, and you and I kind of talked about it when you first got in here during a commercial break, that it does seem that was the intention here, where to an extent maybe the head coach and the other coaches that made the decision were saying, maybe we don't really care if we win this game, but the message has to be sent. Yeah. I just think and Ingram was fine. Like I said, there's nothing you can do on the 6th goal, but you are putting that guy in a tough spot coming in cold in a tie game. And so as a result, once again, even with the leakiness that Jarry's shown, are you giving yourself the best chance to win the game? And I just don't know if I like that part of it, even though, as we're all in agreement here, like he absolutely deserved to be pulled from the hockey game at that stage. It's just circumstance, I think, maybe should have been taken into factor a little bit.
Yeah, but like honestly, man, like it's an ongoing issue. So like I said, like I see your point. I see your point completely. But I think you have to address these bigger issues than just, focusing on a one game. One game, I think that doesn't make the big season, but you can send the message throughout the whole team for rest of the year with this little thing that you're gonna do, and then you can have a conversation with your goalie too after the game, right? So like I'm like I said, I'm totally okay with that.
With the victory on the Ducks side of the ledger, Joel Quenneville becoming the second coach in NHL history to hit 1,000 wins as the bench boss. 3 Stanley Cups. He's second, obviously, on the win list as just the one Jack Adams, which is kind of a little bit surprising. And it came when he was with St. Louis, to his credit. But I think when he's all said and done, he will be in the top 4 for the greatest head coaches in the history of the game.
Amen.
Yeah. He's in number 2 right now for wins, right?
Well, yes, but like wins aren't the only factor.
But like attacking, so he's got what, 3 cups?
3 cups, which has him in a tie for 8th most all time on that specific statistics chart, behind the likes of obviously Bowman. I mean, he has 9, Toe Blake 8, Hap Day, Al Arbor, Dick Irvin.
What about Dick Irvin? Yeah, how many's he got?
4.
4.
So Sather, Punch, Imalk, and Dick Irvin, Arbor all with 4. Hapday with 5, Blake with 8, and then Bowman leading the way with 9.
Yeah.
So I think Scotty Bowman is pretty untouched as the best coach in the history of hockey. And it's like with Quenneville, he's a modern version of he's a modern age guy, and there's some guys that maybe will give him a run for his money coming up. Like you look at a guy like John Cooper, he's already 15th. Second, tied for 15th in Stanley Cup wins with the pair, climbing the wins list like crazy. But Quenneville's run of success have come with different teams. I think he's only ever missed the playoffs once in his career as a head coach.
Tell you what, here's one, Duke, that you haven't mentioned yet. If they were to win this year, and he's got quite a bit of runway, John Cooper could be in there.
I just said John Cooper.
Oh, sorry.
He did say John Cooper. Yeah.
I said that's a guy that could maybe catch him here, and I think Paul Maurice deserves a lot of consideration in this sphere too.
I'm a big fan of Paul Maurice.
There's so many great options because we all know coaches are cycled through faster than players are to an extent because they're all hired to be fired. But yeah, the fact that Quenneville's had success with St. Louis, quick stint in Colorado, he won a cup there as an assistant coach, obviously. The Chicago and now in Anaheim part of this big turnaround the team's enjoying. But yeah, just twice in his career as a head coach has missed the playoffs, and that's with 4 different teams. 5 if you include Florida, which was pretty brief, obviously. So,
how long do you think Quenneville coaches for?
Well, I think.
How old is he? Sorry,
how old is he? Good question. Let me tell you, laddie.
Yeah,
he is 67. He'll turn 68 this year.
He could catch Scotty Bowman in wins if he hangs around Anaheim.
If the Ducks continue this ascension and they're a team that competes for playoff berths, Pacific Division titles, and things for this era of the turnaround after the rebuild, it's not out of the realm of possibility that I think he.
What is it like the oldest coach ever coached in the NHL?
Isn't it Rick? Well, Rick Bowness is the current oldest coach.
Yeah, and that's what
70.
Yeah,
so he could coach for 3-5 years.
Yeah.
If you don't like your wife that much and you want to hang out with her,
that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah. That will keep you out there. Hey, just like I honestly forget the fact that Duke is a huge Anaheim Ducks fan. Can you imagine what he did yesterday after the win? He was probably
playing late.
I played.
Then he got home. He saw the results. Probably got home stripped naked, just pouring a milk all over himself, and the kitty cats were just licking it off his naked body.
Okay,
just picture that, listeners. Picture that, celebrating like he won the Stanley Cup.
Well, I will say this isn't Jim.
Or maybe a heavy cream.
Not trying to rub any salt in the wounds, but unlike Oilers fans my age, I've actually got to see my team win a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. So I already know what that celebration looks like.
Wow, you're not making any friends here. You live in Edmonton.
I was just a young buck at the time, laddie, 6th grade. So happy back then.
Well,
How
hey,
things change.
guess what? I'm glad I could provide.
Yeah.
It for
Oh
you.
man, I say it all the time. Thank you, Laddie Schmid.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you,
You're
Laddie.
gonna have won the Stanley Cup without.
Thank you, Joffrey Lupul.
Yeah.
Thank you, all of that.
Well, I don't know what happened here, but Chris Pronger. You can thank Chris Pronger. If he wouldn't got there, I don't know if he would have won.
Well, hey, they lost to Pronger the year before.
Yeah, I didn't think he would. Like that guy was a beast.
He was a beast. The Oilers, they are right back at it tonight, taking on the Kings in Los Angeles. Already at a Panarin before the Olympic break. And it's funny, you guys just had a pretty good chat about it with Jim Fox. They have a little extra cap space to play with because of the unfortunate injury to Kevin Fiala. Just looking at Ken Holland's resume in his more recent years with the Oilers in particular, I don't think he's done. I think he goes out and makes the biggest splash between now and next Friday to replace Fiala on the wing. I think they will be the biggest splash.
I'm going to just go out just what Foxy was saying, more of a complimentary piece just because of what they had already. I think this was their big splash with Panarin.
I'm going to say I'm out.
You're out.
Like they're not going to make a biggest splash, but I think they might do something bigger than was mentioned. But I don't think it's going to be the biggest splash because there's other teams who probably have more asset, better chance to win a Stanley Cup. So they might add like the biggest splash.
Like the one thing that we haven't totally talked about, it's been brought up. I think this year it's going to be so much harder, like 10 times harder to make deals because of the being cap compliant. And, there would be so many deals that were spun and I'll keep half of this, you keep whatever, blah, blah, blah.
But he can
quarter, and just enough to make the cap work. And then as long as we get to the finish line in the regular season, then we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But now it's just going to be so difficult to make a lot of these deals.
That's true.
The name that I'm looking at is maybe an ad for the Kings here. And it maybe isn't necessarily the best long-term fit because they have more of a need at center.
I'm intrigued.
But I think Jordan Kyrou out of St. Louis, big money, under contract. Maybe they try and figure out the centerman thing after the fact, but it would be a big splash.
Would you take Kyrou over Shen?
Braden Shen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is in higher upside at this point of his career.
Okay.
But once again, Shen fills the more obvious role of needing help down the middle past this season when you're talking about the departure of Kopitar. So it's the Kings have some big decisions to make, and you almost feel bad for him because Holland he went out there, got Panarin, it was a big splash, and then the Fiala injury happens, and you're like almost just back to square one essentially, minus the assets you already traded away to get Panarin, which were surprisingly few actually because of the him holding most of the cards for the Rangers. Finally, wrapping it up today, it is National Toast Day as we think back to our good friend Liam, the intern, and his infamous questions around toast being the best of all the breakfast foods. Hey, I have toast almost every day for breakfast, just from a convenience out the door perspective in the early hours of the morning. I think it's better to go with different toppings on each piece of toast rather than the same across the board, regardless of how many pieces you're having.
You know, this is an interesting question, Duke, in the sense that when I haven't gone out for breakfast for a long time. We used to go to Haps there on, that was great. And then there was another place, I can't remember what it was called on the same street. I think they had a fire or something anyway. But normally we'd go and and usually it would be
the full spread.
Yeah, but the guy wasn't feeling so good, and you want to get that,
get the bread in there to soak it up. Yeah.
So you get basted eggs, right? That's how I like my eggs, basted. So it's like steamed a little bit. So you'd get the toast, Duke, and then half the toast for me would be dipping
for mopping up the yolk,
dipping into the yolk.
Yeah,
and then the other half would be for the grape jelly that would be on the table.
Grape jelly,
I never liked the jam or peanut butter, of course. So the grape jelly.
Of course. Hey, of course we learn.
So
we learn.
If I can use the egg yolk sort of as a topping, does that come into play?
Well, I think that's different if you're talking about out at a sit-down breakfast as opposed to, like I'm saying, like if you're just out the door, you're having a couple pieces of toast in the toaster, you throw some spread on and you eat them as you're walking to the car. That's kind of more what I'm looking at. Because I'm with you, Kevin. When I'm at a sit-down breakfast, I don't put anything on on my toast. It's just butter and it's strictly into the egg yolk.
Yeah.
I love that.
I put strawberry jam on it.
There's nothing
strawberry
wrong with
jam's
that.
good.
Yeah.
Strawberry jam.
With that.
I like avocado toast.
I was just gonna say,
I love. My wife makes avocado, like slice it, it's some like pesto or whatever she puts on it. It's delicious.
Yeah,
I like that big time. But for breakfast, if I go sit down breakfast, I put jam on my toast every single time. I'm pretty boring.
Different.
For just example, I'll have my 2 pieces of toast out of the toaster, peanut butter crunchy on the one piece, and then I'll put blackberry jam, mixed berry jam. I'm not the biggest strawberry jam guy, but it's good. I like it. On one half, and then it's almost just like a toasted PB&J. You put them together, or every second day I'll put Nutella on one half instead with the peanut butter. Take your pick. Maybe get crazy. 2 different types of jam, blackberry on one piece and
whatever
strawberry on the other. I don't know. Get wild with it.
Oh, Nutella.
Or
my son loves Nutella.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Ryan just texted in. It was Romans. Romans. That was the name of the restaurant.
Romans.
Yeah.
Where is this at? Sorry,
like Stony Plain.
Oh no, you said Haps, right?
Yeah, but there's 2 of them there.
I know Haps because it's right on Stony Plain Road, kind of further east, closer towards where it transitions back into.
Romans was on the other side of the street.
Okay.
So, question: what is your favorite breakfast spot in Edmonton? That's currently still
Denny's.
You can't go
because they
wrong with
bring in
Denny's.
food every Wednesday here.
My God!
And I can honestly say,
turn off the microphones and tell me the real.
I haven't. I'm. It's not something I do or have done in my time living in Edmonton. Back when I was going to school here, or now I either just eat breakfast at home, or if it is like the hangover or something, yeah, I love Denny's. I think it's great.
Well, I've done my best work at Denny's at 4 a.m. After a bar, doing shirtless push-ups, crushing pancakes. Good old days. But I'm gonna go with High Level Diner.
A High Level?
Oh, I've been there. More so for lunch and stuff.
Yeah, and I heard good things. Like where I live, Yagerich, there's like an area. It's called Pure and Simple.
Mhm.
Apparently, it's a great breakfast spot. I haven't been. I have to take the kids. But for me, very old school.
So right
high-level
across right
dining.
across from High Level, you ever been to the Sugar Bowl?
I've been in
They,
Sugar
they
Bowl.
I,
It's
I've been
good
there. I've been there for brunch,
It's
which
good.
I guess counts. So.
But yeah, brunch is good there too.
Mhm.
But like high level, first time I went there was with Sean Horkoff. He brought me there. Great pancakes, blueberry pancakes.
You know what? We were talking about it on Thursday because you went to Lloydminster for their tournament.
Yeah.
And so Sunday morning, guess what Laura and I had? We made eggs Benedict with mimosas watching the hockey game.
Mimosas
Yeah, well, champagne, orange juice.
in the morning.
Well, the game was at 6, right? So we
Yeah.
had to, we waited a little bit later for the eggs Benedict because didn't want to eat right away at 6 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very nice. What did you do? Like, so you watched the game?
Watched the game, second
So
period.
then you were sad after the loss?
Ah,
Angry sex afterwards, or what?
and what? What was that? What was that?
Oh, sorry.
One second.
All of a sudden, my hearing's going. I didn't catch that, laddie. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, inappropriate laddie here. Oh, that's nice. You make it very nice.
She made them
Eggs
the
Benedict.
the sauce, whatever hollandaise sauce, whatever you call it.
Yeah,
from
hollandaise sauce.
scratch, right
Oh.
from scratch.
Yeah, if my wife is listening, I could go for some eggs Benedict.
Really?
Yeah, I could. Oh, hey, like if there's a one thing that I like, I'm like very strict with my diet, as you can. But if there's the one thing that I love for breakfast, that
Eggs
they
Benedict.
go eggs Benedict.
So you must have went.
Yeah, I think
with-
it's my number one breakfast
like
food.
eggs Benedict, good eggs Benedict with a back bacon.
Did you ever go to with Bill Tuelli to Barb and Ernie's?
Great spot.
Oh, is it
So on
the German place?
97.
Yeah, oh yeah,
99.
over 99, 97th, one of those.
The
two.
German place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Barb and Ernie's.
And again, I've been there after an all-nighter. I've been there and I ate eggs Benedict, pretty hungover. Oh, good old days, guys. Good old days.
yeah.
Thank God they're over. Yeah, eggs Benedict, my number one like breakfast favorite. Yeah. Oh,
Well,
Well,
now you're hungry, laddie.
I'm sweating. That's how much hungry I am.
You know, there's a spot open for the Critters tonight in Legal.
I can't. I have a commitment. I have to go do a skill session for
It's going to be
HSL
it's
team.
going to be a
Sorry.
big night for the Duke in Legal.
Why is it big night?
There's a
They're trying to like do some big prop, set me up to make me look like a loser. So I'm trying to pick up some women in the crowd or something. I don't know. It's all scheme.
So everybody knows how desperate you are now?
Yeah, that's essentially what
Jesus.
Marty
No,
and Kevin
no.
are scheming to do. They're making me out to look like a loser, which I do more than enough of on my own. I don't need their help doing that.
You're not a loser. You're just struggling in your personal life. In your love life.
Did the definition of loser recently change?
Well, so
that sounds like a loser to me.
last game of the year, Duke, and I think
Is it last game of the
for
year?
the Critters, yes.
Dude, like you have to
This
strike
This
tonight
a
is the
big
night.
Yes, that's
Like,
It's
how big is the city?
Okay, so what are we talking
You
about
know
here?
what's funny?
Strike while the iron's hot and look out. Hey, yeah, sweetheart, you want to come on the bus with me back to West Edmonton? Like, come on now.
Now,
How far is it from here?
an hour less.
Hour and change.
The best part of that right there, laddie, was, this is your night. You got to strike while the iron is hot. Exactly same words, exactly same tone as we went to chop for that dinner. And laddie saying to Duke about that night. Tonight is the night.
Tonight is the night,
You go
and
Strike while the iron's
zero
hot.
striked out.
I had a good night. Went to the Nino with the fellas after.
Yeah.
Seen what the talent level was like rolling around in there.
Good night in my books back in the day was when you woke up next to somebody that you didn't know. So that was a good night. So that's a good. That's a full circle good night.
Oh, man. Good stuff on In or Out, Duke. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick. I can tell you, she's not making eggs Benny right now.
She's not.
On Sports 1440 AM radio, we're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram and Twitch.
McValue meals are here. Get the McDs you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bedroom. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on ceiling memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, North Side, and downtown.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
You started wearing it to guys' night. Nice toque, you hoser. Then you started wearing it to work.
Nice toque, you hipster.
But the truth is, you're not a hoser or a hipster. You're just trying to hide your hair loss. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and for over 2 decades, I've used the latest techniques to help thousands save their hair, including my own. Come see me today to explore your options. By the time it warms up enough to take off the toque, you could have a head of hair you won't want to hide. Go to drvanceelliott.com today.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 10:51 in Edmonton home stretch. Kevin Karius Show with Ladislav Schmid. Back-to-back Oilers Kings tonight. And, you know, like LA scored 4 goals last night, and Vegas didn't dress a lot of their big nuts, right?
Yeah.
Because they left them back in Vegas.
And they still
won.
found a way.
Found a way to win.
Yeah, it's expecting good matchup. I think
Kemper goes.
Yeah, Kemper goes. Obviously, first game back after a pause, a little rusty. So we can make some excuses for certain players.
Mm-hmm.
No more excuses. You're right. And guess what? The best thing that can happen to you, back to back.
Because you're right back in it.
You're right back in it. Just play. Play, don't think about it. But I would like to see kind of lower scoring game. Like I at least the goals against. You got to start figuring out the way to bring it down.
So, I mean, we'll see what the roster looks like again.
Is there going to be changes?
Well, I mean, if Janmark doesn't play tonight, to be honest with you, I mean, he only played 2.5, and even if he would have played 10, I probably wouldn't have noticed him anyway.
Do you think there's going to be any changes to the D pairs?
I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna put Emberson and Nurse together, and then leave Wallman and Stastny. I don't know. I mean, that's the only other options are then you're going to break up Bouchard and Ekholm.
And so they're playing Kings today, and then
San Jose on Saturday afternoon, 2:00 start. And again, like
if I'm making changes, I would probably wait after these 3 games.
I was just thinking in-house, like I mean, Regula's down in the minors. I mean, he's not the answer right now.
I wouldn't split, man. I wouldn't split Bouchard and Ekholm, man. I know.
I don't know. Like that's a simple thing. There's no other options.
We're not deep.
Yeah,
very, very deep on the defense. So yeah, like
it'd be something if you had Cooley, huh?
Dude.
So what do you think about that? Now he's could think about all the guys that Kulak's played in the last year. So he's got Connor and Leon. Then he goes and plays with Sid and Evgeny Malkin. Now he goes and plays with McKinnon and Makar. All in a matter.
That doesn't get much.
In about 3 months here.
He's underrated, but we talked about it, man. Like nobody realized how big of a hole that's gonna leave for the Oilers when he got traded. Everybody was talking Skinner, Jarry. I think big piece was Cooley. He can play top 4 minutes if you need it, but more importantly, you can put him on a third deep pair. He can carry the weight of the other guy. He's great on a PK. He can skate. He can make the simple plays. I love the guy. He's a great kid, great guy in the locker room. I think it was a big loss, man. And now it's like biting you in the ass.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I'm big fan of Cooley.
Never got a name on this texter. Got to leave this with the best text of the day. The best text could be of the week here.
Best text would be if there would be a number attached to the girl's email for Duke.
For Duke.
So this is the second best.
Okay, yeah, that'll come from Legal later. This is from Dan. He just texted in. First time texter here. I just wanted to take an opportunity to let Laddie Schmid know that he has a dog named after him. When he joined the Oilers in 2006, I loved his play as a hard defenseman. I also loved the nickname Laddie. In 2017, our Rhodesian Ridgeback pup joined the family and was given the name Laddie.
I'm honored.
Great name, great hound. Have a great one, gents. And he's even got a picture here, Laddie. And that's a big dog. Look at this here, Laddie. Look at this.
Daddy?
Yeah, that's a big dog there.
And his name is Laddie.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored. I really appreciate it. You actually made my day. You made my day. And
missing a couple of teeth, I see too.
Well,
no, the dog.
Well, I know. Well, I'm missing a lot of teeth. Well, I just fixed it, but yes. Oh, I forgot to talk about Sidney Crosby.
Sure, yeah, you got a minute.
When he talked about that, it wasn't Ratko Gudas's fault.
Yeah, he said it was just a hockey player.
Right? Like people were going after Ratko Gudas. What a guy, man. Yeah. If I want my daughter to date a hockey player, I would probably go for minus
Ratko Gudas.
No.
Oh,
Sidney Crosby, not Duke. No, but like I have tons of respect for Sidney Crosby, man. Like I know everybody talks about him, but like that's
so that was announced yesterday. He's going to be out for
4
at
weeks.
least a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yesterday he goes to a kids clinic, and he's with the kids all day long. They have shots of him taping the kids' sticks and everything like that.
Man, like, could Canada like wish for better player like that past 20? He might be probably the best guy like ever come out. Like just the genuine, like well-spoken, no drama around leader, great player. Like honestly, you cannot say too many good things about him. No, I'm happy for you Canadians.
Good stuff, Laddie.
So, Legal,
what's your schedule? Are you here next week? Yeah, you're here. Yeah.
I have some big news, though.
Okay.
You're going to be sad.
Okay. When can you tell us this news? Next week or after the show?
After the show, and then we can talk about it next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah. You might cry.
We'll see you in Legal tonight.
We don't even have Kleenex here.
Okay. We'll see you in Legal tonight.
Okay. Please keep me posted if there is gonna be a flower thrown in the stands and somebody will respond to it.
It's just like like, will you have this rose? From Bachelorette. It's gonna be a big
he's
thing.
just shaking his head there. We're trying to help you.
Good stuff.
All right, thanks, guys.
see
I
you-
appreciate it.
Stick around for a minute here then.
Yeah.
Top of the hour, we got Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Ross Shep T-Bird.
Connor Halley and the Duke of Delburne, 12 till 2, the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell, 2 till 6, Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We've got the pregame show with Andrew Walker and the Landon Ferraro and the old Donnie P from 7 till 8:30. Puck drop just after 8:30 again, Kings and Oilers post-game show to follow with those dudes. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 to wrap things up on the week. And it's been a wild week. Until then, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for all the texts, the interaction. Could not do it without you. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Until then, here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They finish off a back-to-back in SoCal up against the Kings. Puck drop scheduled for 8:30 Mountain Time. The rest of the NHL busy night. 11 games total, including the Bruins hosting the Jackets. Islanders are in Montreal. Red Wings take on the Senators from Ottawa. Maple Leafs in Florida against the Panthers. Lightning play the Canes. Kraken up against the Blues. And the Flames, also in California, against the Sharks. In the AJ tonight, just outside the city, Camrose Kodiak's taking on Drumheller for a 7 o'clock puck drop. And 10 games total in the association, including Chicago hosting Portland. Lakers are in Phoenix, and the Clippers host Minnesota in the nightcap. First big news from Combine Week in the NFL. The New York Jets trading former first-round pass rusher Jermaine Johnson to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat. And in case you missed it, late last night, Max Scherzer rejoining the Blue Jays, according to reports. This will be his 19th season in the major leagues. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton.